Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar.
Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau.
What is happening here on a Thursday? A rainy one right now. Just ran through some puddles. Sneakers are all wet. Changed to the flip-flops. Got to have the flip-flops in the car, Casey. Veteran move right there when the feet get wet. Nothing worse than wet sneakers.
Yeah, I give you that.
There you go.
Gotta be
Brent
prepared.
Martineau, Casey Kurtz. Here on a Thursday, Jags breaking away from Episcopal. That doesn't mean, we were just talking about this. I was just down at Jags headquarters. It's weird. We're seeing them so far away from a game. Like when you break camp, you feel like it's right around the corner. And, well, of course, we get a game Saturday night. We are right around that corner, but not nearly right around the corner from the season. Long way to go. September 11th, of course, against Washington on the road. And there's this 2-week break. And it's just like an extra 4 days built in, but it feels like an eternity. And I believe that was the case last year, too, because I remember having this conversation a bit. And it's just more of a feel thing than anything else. I think this new preseason where there's technically only 3 games for everybody else. Jags got the 4th, of course, with the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz, no Aaron Schachter today, but Clay Harbor will be in just a bit as he was out at camp once again. So he'll join us 4 p.m. until 5 p.m. Welcome to stay longer if he's listening. Clay Harbor. Good to have him in. And once again, we made the announcement yesterday. We'll have Clay on Wednesdays in the fall from 4 p.m. until 5 p.m. on ESPN 690. We'll get to the Jags and a lot of the Jags discussions we had. I'd like to get into like the news and notes of the Jags off the top of the show. And does anything surprise you? Well, the big news is obviously they're out of camp in Episcopal. You got the game Saturday night. They're going to play longer than they did. But I feel like I said all this yesterday. I told you Devin Lloyd wasn't going to play. James Robinson wasn't going to play. I think all eyes now point to that last game. Will any of those guys play? And even that I think is unlikely. I think you're really looking at a Wednesday, Thursday practice. One thing about Doug is he said no live against the Falcons. So they'll thud and they'll have pads on, it looks like Wednesday, but it won't be live against the Atlanta Falcons. We're seeing a bunch of brawls at these practices too. So maybe Arthur Smith and Doug say, hey, maybe that's one way to avoid some of these confrontations at these joint practices because the coaches don't want to see any of that. They really don't. They don't mind, a little competition, and even if it's fiery, but they don't want to see what's been going on in Patriots camp. And now the Bucs again today with Leonard Fournette kind of instigating against the Titans. We'll root for Leonard in that one.
Yeah, we will.
But the big story, of course, around the NFL, Deshaun Watson, initial reaction. Are you surprised, Casey Kurtz? 11 games, $5 million fine. We started hearing that number of $5 million fine. And by the way, I can appreciate that part of it. Usually I'm like not a fine guy. It's like $250,000, $1 million. Like it doesn't even sound like a lot with the money these guys make. And quite honestly, $5 million shouldn't sound like a bunch when you're getting $230 million if you're Deshaun Watson. But the reality is $5 million is a hefty fine. I mean, that is a big ding to the wallet for Deshaun Watson, or maybe the Browns, as I said, would pick it up because they seem to just do anything Deshaun Watson wants to make him feel better, I guess, these days. But $5 million is pretty hefty, and now 11 games. You think that's good, Casey?
I mean, no, but like, it's more satisfying than what it was before. So I guess I'll live with it. But no, it doesn't feel like enough. I guess like the $5 million, I get it, Brent. It's a lot of money, but like he just got 200 and something guaranteed. So like, I know it's a big deal in terms of the fines that they've handed out and people that have gotten fines before. We have the list, obviously, but like if he didn't just sign a fully guaranteed deal for 250, whatever, I'd be like, okay, great. But now I'm like, oh, now he only has 245.
Yeah. He's got a lot of money. All right. And that's true. But when you find somebody, one individual, not a team, an individual, an amount of money that is a big chunk of change. By the way, that's going to go to charity. So good for that charity or various charities out of this. And a lot of fines in the NFL end up going to charity anyway. But I do think it's significant. It doesn't feel like a slap on the wrist. Again, we're so numb to the dollars in sports now. Like that doesn't register, but I think it's pretty significant. $5 million. I'll also say this. I think what's significant about this play by the NFL, and I almost would have rather seen the decision made than a settlement eventually and the jockeying that took place. But That being said, I had said all along, if it was 10 games right off the rip instead of 8, I'm not sure the NFL would even have appealed because it's more than half the year, and 10 games felt like a lot more than 8. 8's not half the year anymore. So 10 is significant. And then we played around with the number 12, and when you're talking about 12, you're like, okay, well, if he does 12 games, I mean, shouldn't you just do a season? 12 we thought would be the max without doing the season. One, you can't go 14 games. I mean, if you did 14 games, just write them off for the season. So I think it ended up close to 12, around 11. We later find out that, hey, they'll play the Houston Texans coming off the suspension. Is that a storyline in the NFL? See, I don't know if they want to play that up. I don't think they want Deshaun Watson as part of the storyline. More on that in a moment. But also, Deshaun's side wanted it because otherwise he couldn't get a full year of service is the story that I saw. And then he would have got beat up on the salary for 2023. So there's significance for Deshaun Watson getting less than a 12-game suspension. I guess you got to play 6 games from a service standpoint in the NFL to make all those numbers work. But I think 11 is pretty significant. I think it really jeopardizes the Cleveland Browns. I mean, what do you do?
Jimmy G.
Do you do Jimmy G or do you go Jacoby Brissett and just let it ride?
Jimmy G. Come on.
What is it? You've been, I was at in a meeting and a couple other meetings. Have you seen the reaction on social media? Like, people are disgusted with the whole Deshaun Watson thing. I get that. But are people like, still not enough? Can't believe it. I felt like that was the case after the 8 game. I didn't see on my timeline, at least in a quick look, that was the case this time around. Are people satisfied with that he got more than he initially got?
Yeah, I think a little bit, but the main reaction I've seen is they're mad about what he said, that he settled, but he maintains his innocence, and then like just the way that press conference went. We'll play some of that as we go along because I still have to get it. But in terms of what he said, people didn't like it and the way he delivered it. So people are more upset about how it played out and the settlement part of it versus the games.
So he had a news conference today. They're not talking about the Friday interview that he did, right?
No, he talked today.
Yeah, okay, because he talked
Friday. He doubled down what he said on Friday.
Yeah.
And then they pushed him because they were like, well, if you settled, then are you really innocent? And, yeah, that's kind of where it went.
It's a tricky thing, right, from Deshaun's situation, and I thought a lot about that. So is he admitting guilt or no? I think that's a good question. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I think he admits guilt here, but you know what people advise you to do in these situations is my guess. I mean, I haven't had to get this advice, thankfully, but I would believe when you sign a $230 million contract and you get suspended 8 games, and this thing's been a mess for 2 years, my guess is his advisors say, listen, you can sit here and die on the hill. You can play all the principle you want if you really think you were wronged. But the way to get this done is to take the punishment and go and move on. And so, I mean, I guess that's what Deshaun's saying is basically, listen, I was going to get punished, so I'm just taking it. But I still don't think I did anything wrong or that much wrong. Like, the only thing he admits to is say, I'm sorry for anybody I might have hurt, you know? And that's about it. But he's not necessarily apologizing for the actions that he may have done.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And it's a semantics kind of play. Now, it's big. It's a big deal because of how it's perceived and looked. The bottom line for Deshaun Watson, you can be close to Deshaun Watson. You can be his agent. You can be his family. You can be his teammate, his ally. It doesn't matter what you think anymore. Like, you might fully believe that he is in the right. The public does not. The public feels, and the perception on this is Deshaun Watson did something. And he did something wrong. And to what extent he did something wrong, now that's up for debate. But this, in a way, because he's punished, is an admission or a reality that, yeah, the public is right. He did something to some degree wrong. And I think that's what this shows today. And so from that standpoint, I would think the public and fans, everything, are like, okay, at least he's punished. 11 games, that's more than half the season. That could cost Cleveland the season. And then $5 million. And again, I don't think people register the $5 million because he's making $230. But it's a it's a distinct punishment. I still come away with, this thing doesn't sit right from Cleveland's perspective.
Yeah.
And I've always had an issue with this. And by the way, that's not to dismiss the Deshaun part of this. But Cleveland, in this negotiation, at the forefront of this, and I remember when this came out, by the way, when he got traded, because I was down in at Steph's parents' house and doing the shows from down there in Southwest Florida. I can remember it. So it must have been like March.
It was, yeah.
And I just couldn't believe that Cleveland signed him to like this deal. And it's not only $230 million guaranteed, but this wiggle room out of the contract at the first year. Like, if you're the team, wouldn't you say, hey, screw it? Like, you got to pay what you got to pay. Instead, they made it as friendly as they could to Deshaun Watson, who we all think did something wrong here. Like, just in basic principle, why are we enabling? Why is anybody enabling somebody who may have done something wrong? And to what extent, we don't even know.
Yeah.
And that doesn't sit well with us. Like, that doesn't sit well with me, that part of it. And it's really hard to, like, exactly say because we just don't know all the details. But the fact that he got $1 million this year, the fact that now he gets 11 games instead of 12 just to save that more money. Like, why do you need to save that much money when you're making $230 million guaranteed? You know, what's there to save? I mean, does that matter in the grand scheme? So there's just like an ugly twist to this, something that doesn't feel
Gross.
right.
It's disgusting.
But what I'm saying is on part of like Cleveland.
I'm
Like,
agreeing with you.
It's the Deshaun Watson's agent. That's his job to do that, to try to get that.
And he did a great job.
And he did a good job. But there's just something that doesn't sit right with the Cleveland side of this, to the point where I said, and I'm not sure I was joking, this might really happen. I wonder if they'll eat the $5 million and pay it for him. I mean, they've done everything else to cater to him.
Maybe. It's possible. I think the Cleveland part of it's gross. And, like, Brian brought this up when the original suspension came out, but I think it still stands. Cleveland won. Like, the risk they took paid off. It's 11 games. Okay, it's another lost season for the Browns. Chalk it up to the last 86 of them. But, like, they're going to win. They're going to win out in this, and it's going to work out for them likely because this is probably the end of this. And then going into next year and the year after that, like, it's going to be gross. But at the end of the day, they won. They made the move, and it's going to pay off.
That's a really good point. And I guess I didn't think about it in just those simplistic terms. Did the Browns win on the gamble?
Yeah. I mean, barring that this is it, which I don't think there's anywhere else we go from here other than football, then yeah, I would say that they won. Now, granted, we can check this in a few years down the road and like, okay, they paid $250. Did they win a Super Bowl? Then we can say no.
Yeah, or he's not playing at the high level that he was before because he
yeah.
took so much time off. I mean, there are still wrinkles to this story that doesn't mean Cleveland won, but I get what you're saying. Like,
on the
right
surface
now,
right now, they did.
It feels, although I will say this, Casey, I don't think you can just dismiss another year in the misery, the mistake by the lake, if you will, and the misery of the Cleveland Browns fans if this doesn't go right. And it does have a favorable schedule in the first, like, 6 games for even Jacoby Brissett or whoever's at quarterback. But they do have a roster that is really ready to contend if they had Deshaun Watson, like to take it another step. If they have Deshaun Watson that we've seen play quarterback for the Houston Texans at that level, I mean, they have a legit chance to join the fray in the conversation of a team that could make a run. And it doesn't feel like they're going to have that unless Jacoby Brissett does some magical things, you know, in the first 3 months of this football season. So I get what you're saying. They still have the longevity of it. They still get Deshaun on the other side of it. It was never a situation where they're like, I never felt like Deshaun Watson was never going to play football again, though. And so they were going to get him back at some point. But I just wouldn't play lightly that they might lose the 2022 season with Deshaun Watson, because those 11 games will cost them potentially a chance at the playoffs and a chance to go for broke with this roster that they have. Will it be as good next year? Who knows?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. If I'm them, though, I'm calling Jimmy G right now because, to your point and a comment on YouTube, like, they have an okay roster. Like, everyone seems to like it more than I do, so I'm not going to co-sign with that. But Jimmy G can win you games, especially against a favorable schedule, and then you get Deshaun back, and then you got a real shot. Then you might have a problem with who should you play, Jimmy G or Deshaun. That's another thing. But if I'm Jimmy G's agent, I'm calling Cleveland, and if I'm Cleveland, I have no reason not to because, again, Jacoby Brissett, good backup. We've seen him as a starter with the Colts, who had, remember, the greatest offensive line, and this and that, couldn't get it done.
Here's why I don't want Jimmy G, if I'm his agent, to go to Cleveland. because I'm really playing 11 games and then I'm on the bench again. Now I'm in a pickle and I'm going to move addresses again and I don't know where I'm going again. Like, this is not a home. Like, if I'm
What's the alternative?
If I'm working on his behalf, I almost think it's a better situation to wonder if Trey Lance fails early on and they got to go back to me in San Francisco. Like, there's a longer play there, at least for this year, until I find a home, or I just wait until the trade deadline, somebody else gets hurt, and somewhere that I can play potentially long term, or Seattle gets desperate because Drew Lock's just awful. You know, any of those kind of situations, I think I don't want to put my client in a situation where in 11 games he's in the middle of another quarterback carousel deal.
Maybe.
And really he's not, because Deshaun Watson's going to play.
Sure. But, I mean, I'm just going to go on the side of the number 3 overall pick is going to be good enough to play. And if I'm Jimmy G's agent, I'm going to say, you got 11 games to get paid next year. Because that's the only spot left. If Seattle doesn't want you, that's the only spot you're starting unless something weird happens with the Giants.
That's an interesting look at it. You'd be on a good team, right, or a good roster.
You got weapons, easy games like we've talked about.
Yeah,
you
could
really
games.
show out for 11 games, and then somebody wants you.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. And by the way, like, I know this was just like a very small sample. Deshaun Watson did look really rusty. And
Horrible.
if they did have a pretty good, like, run going in Cleveland with Jimmy G, and he looked rusty in 2 games, they might be like, listen, we'll just give you the offseason to get ready. Get Jimmy back in here. We're going to make the playoffs. You know, I mean, I can't imagine they would do that, but could you see a scenario where it plays out? Maybe. Like, I have no idea. So Jimmy Garoppolo is in such a weird situation. I just don't know if I'd want to put him in this one. It's an interesting point, though. 11 games. You get an 11-game sample. If you stay in San Fran, you have no idea if you're getting 11 games. You're probably not.
Right.
And where else are you going? Are you going to this good of a situation
Seattle,
in terms of team?
Seattle, I mean, they have good receivers, but the offensive line is sus, and then you don't want to go to the Giants for my money. And then other than that, there's nowhere to go.
Can you call up, before we go to break, the Cleveland Browns schedule in the first 11 games? What do we think the Browns' record will be by the time Watson comes back?
So you start off with the Panthers.
Let's try to agree on this. Do they beat the Panthers?
I don't think we're going to agree on this.
You like the Panthers.
I think Baker Mayfield beats them.
That would be great. What a great storyline, huh?
Yeah, like that's what I think. I think Baker Mayfield is like he'll will them to win.
All right, I'll come with you on that.
All right,
I like that storyline.
There we go. They beat the Jets at home.
Yes.
They then have the Steelers at home.
I would probably give the Steelers the edge right now with all the disjointed nature of the Browns and what I saw from them last week. I know it was a preseason game. That doesn't matter probably, but I'll go with the Steelers.
All right. Falcons on the road, so they're 2-2.
Yep.
Chargers at home.
No.
2-3. Patriots at home. That's a game they could win.
Yeah, I'm going to give them that game because I'm, hemming and hawing on the other ones. So let's give them a 50-50 game. So 3-3, right?
Yeah. Ravens on the road.
I'd say no. 3-4.
Bengals at home.
I like the Bengals there. 3-5.
Dolphins on the road.
I might give them a win here. 4-5. You okay with that, or you like the Dolphins?
I'll go with you. Bills on the road. That's a loss.
4-6.
Bucks at home.
Oof, 4-7. So
Texans.
4-7 when he comes back, and then just keep going here for the sake of argument.
Sure.
You got the Texans, Watson could be 1-0.
Bengals on the road.
I'm going to give the Bengals for now definitely 1-1.
Ravens at home.
Let's say they get that. They split the Ravens 2-1.
Saints at home
Oof.
on Christmas Eve. Not that matters.
Let's give them it and see where this
goes. It kind of
goes.
matters. It's freezing.
Yeah, let's go 3-1.
Commanders on the road.
4-1.
Steelers on the road.
I'll go 4-2. They split with the Steelers because we gave them the other one, I think.
Yeah.
So they were 4-7, and now 4-2. That gets them to 8-9, and they're missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's with Watson going 4-2 in our estimation. And that's with the soft part of the schedule in the first 6, really. First 4 to 6 games are not that hard.
Yeah.
So.
And that's with could you beat the Panthers? There
could,
are some questionable games in there where you could.
Yeah, are you going to get swept by the Bengals? But we had them splitting with the Ravens. We had them splitting with the Steelers. I think we had them beating Miami. They might beat Carolina, but lose to Miami.
Right.
Right. So I think we were pretty fair there. I think
so.
I don't think we we're out of bounds in either direction.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at a team that might be, you can't be 500 anymore in a 17-game season, but they're right around there, and they're probably not going to the playoffs. And I don't know, to be honest with you. I would say in those first 6 games, maybe you got them going 4-2 at least. with Deshaun, like with the Deshaun Watson that we know, like played in the past, maybe even 5-1.
Yeah, I mean, you could convince me, because if Deshaun of the old is playing, you got the better quarterback against every team, except the Chargers.
Except the Chargers. So the +1, that would be 9 wins, potentially 10 wins. That's a wild card spot, maybe even a division in that crunched up division of the AFC North if you get to 10 wins. So it really could, this 11-game suspension, the way we figure it, in even a conservative manner, has a real good chance to cost them the playoffs.
Probably.
So it's a pretty steep penalty.
Yeah.
Both for Deshaun and, of course, for the Cleveland Browns. We take a break. We come back. We talk more Jags. Your thoughts, if you want, on Deshaun Watson. You can always jump in on the Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Phones are always open on this show. What do you think about the Jags getting ready for the Steelers on Saturday night? What do you need to see? 904-362-9901. Don't share the number enough, but you know it's always open here on the show. Clay Harbor's going to join us at 5. We'll hear from some of the Jaguars throughout the next couple of hours as well, and a couple other topics that I'd like to get to today that I didn't get to yesterday because we spent too much time talking about the Bachelorette.
We did. A lot of time.
More pictures taken at camp today with Clay Harbor.
Oh, really?
And they were Bachelorette fans,
Hey,
I could tell.
I saw a video that you tweeted out from practice that I was going to comment on Twitter, but I knew you wouldn't like that. It had to do with the four-legged.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, don't make me look bad. That was a good video of Trevor.
I had it typed, Brent, and I'm telling you, I was about to hit send.
That's
and
good
I was
by
like,
you.
You know what?
That's good by you. That was a cute pup.
It was a good dog, yeah. Good dog.
We will be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Sunshine, heat, and humidity will give way to again some heavy afternoon and early evening storms. Highs today in the lower 90s, dropping into the low 70s tonight. And partly cloudy for your Friday, but again in the afternoon, some heavy showers and thunderstorms with a high near 90. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing with nothing down.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Living in Florida, we don't really worry about the seasons, except for one, hurricane season. And since your home is the most important asset, protecting your home with Rhino Shield against the harsh Florida weather is good for your house and it's good for your budget. As they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when it comes to your house, those cracks in the walls will cost you thousands if not repaired. Rhino Shield waterproofs your home with a coating that is 13 times thicker than box store paint. It has a Class A fire rating, is salt-air corrosive resistant, and comes in any color. Plus, with our 25-year warranty, you get a 100% non-prorated transferable warranty. This hurricane season, call Rhino Shield today and receive 30% off your entire job. The bottom line with Rhino Shield, you'll never have to paint again.
There are 16 spots in the playoffs and just one track left. Well, not just any track. Daytona. A last chance to keep playoff hopes alive. And for fans to experience an event unlike any other. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 26th and 27th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
UFP Folkestone, the #1 site-built construction plant in Georgia, is now hiring for multiple departments. We've been around since 2016, and we're located in, you guessed it, Folkestone, Georgia. Around here, we're more than just coworkers. We're like family, and we're part of an international family of companies with a long history of promoting from within. So if you like to work hard and get rewarded for it, this is the place for you. Check out our openings at ufpi.com/careers.
A new era is here for Jaguars football. New championship-winning coach, new superstars, and new optimism. One consistent this fall is Tailgaters Parking will still be delivering the very best tailgating experience at the bank all season. Tailgaters Parking doesn't just talk a big game. They're right across the street from TIAA Bank Field. Offer clean, permanent restrooms, food options, a full liquor bar, and all parking spots are on a well-kept grass lot. Check out Tailgaters Parking at tailgatersparking.com to reserve your spot today.
Hey, poker players! The Summer Heater Poker Tournament Series is at Best Bet Jackson. 11th to the 21st, featuring 11 different poker tournaments, including the main event, a no-limit hold'em tournament with a $1,500 buy-in from August 19th to the 21st. If you're looking for an exciting poker tournament this summer, visit us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Florida's largest poker room. View the tournament and satellite schedule at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com. Don't miss it.
If you're a veteran looking for direction, purpose, and community in civilian life, we've got your back. Warrior Week at Camp Southern Ground will give you the tools and training you need to thrive in life after military service, all at no cost to you. Get started today at campsouthernground.org.
Don't miss the gun show this weekend at the Ramona Pavilion featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more. There'll be concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Ramona Pavilion on Ramona Boulevard, Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the gun show.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wet Jet. With Swiffer Wet Jet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer Wet Jet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
It's definitely still a grind, but coming from the University of Georgia, they definitely prepared before. Like here, you don't, at the University of Georgia, we full pads every day. Here, you might get shells here and there, full pads, 2 days back to back. Nothing too crazy, but it's definitely been a grind, though. It's definitely been a grind.
That is Trayvon Walker. He talked today. Gotta believe this will be the final action of the preseason for the rookie out of Georgia.
I have some questions about that.
Coming up on Saturday for Trayvon Walker. I want to get to your questions in a moment, but Aaron dropped this piece of paper, and I'm sure I could get back to it later, but just in case we don't get to Deshaun Watson stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I got to use the homework assignment. Yeah, so the idea here is how stiff is the penalty, right? $5 million in fines, 11 games, which means he'll sit out 28 regular season games since 2020. That's significant when you look at that number, right?
That's a lot of games.
And now 17 of those were on his own. But then 11 more. Mandatory evaluation by behavioral experts and treatment program. I don't know how serious that stuff is, quite frankly, but it's in the writing.
Yep.
Eligible for reinstatement on November 28th, which is against the Texans. And by the way, it does get him out of that October window, when you guys were talking about this quite a bit, from when you have different initiatives like breast cancer awareness and, things like that, again, it's now late November rather than in October. Largest fines and suspensions of all time. It's number one Saints bounty program in 2011. Sean Payton was suspended a year without pay. So I guess in essence, that's like the biggest fine probably because he was probably making like $7 million a year in coaching. Yeah. He didn't see it coming, so he didn't get to craft his contract the way Deshaun did. GM Mickey Loomis suspended 8 games. Greg Williams out indefinitely. Sat out a year before reinstatement. Saints were fined $500,000. That's it. But second-round picks in 2012 and 13, significant there. Spygate, Belichick fined $500,000. Highest coach fine ever at the time. And it was the max allowed by the CBA. So it shows you the significance of this fine. Again, I don't think you can just sleep on that. $5 million for Deshaun is big. Pats were fined $250 and a first-round pick. That's also significant. Go all the way back to the gambling of Paul Hornung and Alex Karras, accused of betting on games while playing. Both were suspended for the entire 63 season. And Pac-Man Jones suspended the entire 7 season, cost him $1.29 million. First time in 44 years that a player was suspended for an offense other than substance abuse.
Interesting.
In 2008, he gets traded to Dallas for a fourth-round pick, gets into a hotel fight in October, gets suspended 4 more games. And then the Dolphins are the most recent. And that was pretty significant as well for the Dolphins, where they lose a first-round pick. And the owner was suspended for like 8 games or something like that. So this is huge. I mean, this is a massive penalty.
It is.
For the NFL to hand down. And, for some people, depending on when it comes in the time of their career, it could be in the end.
Like A-Rod?
Or like Ray Rice.
True.
Like Ray Rice, by the time he could have potentially, and I don't know all the details right now, so I guess I'm speaking a little out of school, of when he could have reapplied or tried to say, hey, can I get back in? Like his career was over anyway, if I remember that correctly.
I think you're right.
Like he wasn't going to come back and be a very productive player. So I don't think he even bothered. He might have bothered to try to do it, but I don't
think he signed with the Bucks, but never played.
Did he actually sign with another team? Okay.
Think.
So that's my point, though. Deshaun's got a lot of football ahead of him.
Tons.
Right? And that's the difference here. So anyway, I wanted to make sure I get to that and show you that 11 games and $5 million is a hefty, hefty suspension. Whether you agree with it or not, by NFL standards, it is a heavy deal for Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz here on a Thursday on ESPN 690. And Clay Harbor will join us in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll talk more about the Jags. Some fun stories coming out of Clay. By the way, as we do this going along, he's really got some fun stories. So some commercial breaks. He was telling some folks out there today about other stories. So we'll try to get some of those stories out of Clay coming up at the 4 o'clock hour and more diagnosis of the Jags. Now, what do you have to say about Trayvon Walker?
So, by the way, do you hear the flash flood warning in the mic?
I can hear it in my ears. I don't know if the listeners can hear it through the mic. It's pretty loud.
Yeah, it is pretty loud. Flash flood warning, by the way, if you were interested, 104.5
It was raining
WKB.
pretty good.
They'll hit you up on that. Yeah, it is raining. So anyway, I was listening to Trayvon talk. I heard him say this. I'm play it. I know you heard it, but I want the people to hear it, and then I want to ask you about it.
Next week for me is very big. Like, I'm from the state of Georgia. I know a lot of my hometown will be at the game. It's really going to mean a lot to me just for my hometown people, the younger kids, to be able to come to the games. They're getting a bus together to bring them to the game just to see. So it's going to really mean a lot to me to be able to put on a show and just show them the right way.
Obviously talking about Atlanta. So he has to play, right?
Yeah, it was very interesting. I'm hearing him talk about that, and he is going back home, and he's got this busloads of kids coming up.
Oh, you
and
can't
all this
disappoint
stuff.
the kids.
I know, but he's not going to play.
I know.
He's not playing.
Like, when I heard that, I was like, man, that's like, you think there's any chance? Like, he forces himself out there for 3 plays?
No.
Well, the kids are coming, Brent. Like, I'm serious. That's like, I mean, it's cool that they organize the whole thing. They'll see him warm up, obviously, but like, 3 plays?
Well, I thought about
One
this
series?
I thought about this on a couple different levels, right? Because we're going to be up there next week in Atlanta. And one of the things I was working on, because we have our Friday night show starts, Blitz Scoreboard show will start, by the way, next Friday from the road.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, that should be fun to start it off. And actually, our Friday Night Blitz on TV side starts with a preview show coming up tomorrow night, because we actually have Kickoff Classics going tonight at Sandalwood.
Good luck.
And Oakley, Finn Baldwin involved with that, but a lot of teams will go tomorrow. And so high school football is kicking off. And one of the things we were thinking of doing is going over to Cartersville High School, where Trevor went to school, and we've been there and done stories in the past leading up to last year's draft. And I thought maybe he would go over. It's about 40 minutes from where they're staying in the hotel on Friday night, and he's not going to play on Saturday. So I figured, but it sounds like he's not going to do that, not going to go over. But the other part of that is I was like, oh, man, I bet they'll have busloads of people going to the Falcons game, and play the Jags. Well, I doubt they're going to do that, too. Even though they're 40 minutes from his hometown, they could have the whole town go, but he's not going to play.
Yeah.
Like, we know he's not playing.
That we do know.
And Trayvon's kind of in the same boat. And by the way, Trayvon's from a little bit further away than Thomasville, I think it is, right?
Sounds right.
Further away than, like, Cartersville. to
a lot of Vils.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I know, that's why I'm getting very confused. But it's kind of a bummer for those two guys. I mean, the last two number 1 overall picks are from within like 90 minutes tops of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Is that what we call that thing? Or is that New Orleans?
No, Superdome and then Stadium.
Okay. And they could have busloads of people. You could be 16 jerseys, like all of it. And you're not going to get it.
Yeah, it's unlucky.
Like, so it's a little unfortunate for them. And I don't think now, the only other thing I don't know, and I guess I got to check into this. I'm so used to around here, like fans can't go to the Jags practices this year. Are they open to the Falcons? I would think probably.
Yeah.
But again, now Flowery Branch is, I want to say, northeast of Atlanta and not like right around the corner.
I think you're right.
So it would almost be better, to your point, that busloads of people come from Cartersville and Thomasville, Georgia, to go to the practices.
Yeah.
If allowed.
Yeah. That would make more sense if they're actually going to be out there, you know? Well, they'll be out there in practice.
You are giving me a little bit of a story idea, though, that the last two number 1 overall picks in the NFL draft are from within 2 hours of each other. And they've said it, like they remember each other from high school and stuff.
You're welcome.
But isn't that crazy?
It is kind of strange.
I mean, you know how I say, like I said this all Canton week. I was like, listen, you have two people with deep ties to Jacksonville going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in the same year. I mean, think about that. Like, what are the odds?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, you could say, hey, two players that were picked number 1 overall, which has only happened X amount of times in the history of the sport, are from within 2 hours of each other in the Atlanta area.
And then to go like just a little deeper, Fields.
And Fields was number 2. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Just insane. I like that stuff. I don't know if you guys like that stuff, but I kind of like that stuff. I think it's fascinating.
It is interesting because, like, Georgia's got good football. Like, we know that. But, you know, it's not Florida. It's not Texas.
No, it doesn't get mentioned there. You're right. And Georgia does have very good football, though, because all you have to do is look at the Bulldogs roster, and you know they keep them home. And Georgia's an underrated state for a lot of sports, like I would say baseball. I actually think softball in Georgia's really good, but because that's the world I live in. But you're right. It doesn't get the love that Texas, Californians. Heck, even like Pennsylvania and Ohio probably get more love than a state like Georgia does from a football standpoint. And then I would say even Louisiana. Don't sleep on Louisiana, which is excellent. But Louisiana probably gets more love than Georgia, and I'm not sure they spit out better players anymore. Some rival site will probably tell me that or not. I do hear your weather thing right there, by the way. Let me ask you this. Trayvon Walker, as a number 1 overall pick, has he, in my opinion, I feel like he's done everything that we could have asked him to do in this camp so far. Like, we've seen stuff. He's been healthy. He's practiced a lot. He's made splash plays in the game. He's shown that he can be the part. If you weren't a fan of Trayvon Walker coming out of the draft and didn't like that number 1 overall pick, I bet you feel a little bit different. I'm not saying you're buying a jersey, but I bet you feel a little bit better about it now than you did maybe on April 29th when you didn't like it. And so I'm not sure. Like, we got one more chance to see him against the Steelers, and hopefully that goes well. But I think this has gone pretty damn good for Trayvon Walker and the Jags here in the month of August.
Yeah, I think it's.
It's a great test for you right now.
Yeah,
like you have. This is like what happens when I do TV. I have people talking in my ear at the same time as I'm talking, and you got the weather report going on right as you're trying to, give a killer take on Trayvon Walker.
I am, because I just feel bad for the listener having to listen to this old guy.
Don't worry
in the
about that.
background.
They're okay. They're entertained by this, seeing if you can do it.
Well, I can do it because I'm literally the person you're describing. I was not sold on the pick until it happened, but to your point, I think you're right in terms of he's done everything you've asked of him. The press conferences have been good. Obviously, the play on the field has been good. The performance in practice has been good. There's been nothing that you can point at and say, like, we could be better there. Like, there's nothing I don't even think to nitpick at. He's made plays in the games. He's done his job. He's been great in front of the microphone. Everything you want. So I think, it's extremely positive. Granted, we haven't watched Aiden Hutchinson other than him singing, or, these other guys in the view that we've watched this guy, because he's here, obviously, so we don't really know what they're saying about these other guys fully. But just watching Trayvon Walker, it's been, to this point, before playing a game, a real game that matters, it's been a home run.
Yeah, I think you just summed it up. You did a nice job. You almost got thrown off the rails there when the beeping started, but you did a nice job. You almost did. You hesitated, but you did a great job. And I think you just nailed a lot of it. I'm going to add one layer to this. Well, I'm going to add two layers, but one first. It's been disappointing to not see Devin Lloyd yet. Like, I'm disappointed because I want to see him. I think everybody is, from a selfish standpoint. I also understand it. I think we'll see him in September. And we're going to see a lot of them this year. And hopefully that hamstring's cool, and by holding them out, that's a better way to go. So I understand it. But I think it would be a bigger story if we saw some holes in Trayvon's game.
Yeah.
So if Trayvon has struggled a little bit, first of all, it wouldn't mean that much. But couple it with the idea that Devin Lloyd has been out. And now you have 2 first-rounders in this history of this organization that can't seem to figure out first-rounders. That would be a major story and a big red flag. And so Trayvon Walker playing well has really hidden that storyline. And that's a good thing for a team that needs some positive stuff going on.
Yeah.
The less you can have that storyline. And really, Casey, if you start to go back to one of the big problems of this organization over the last 12, 15 years, it's hitting on their first rounders, hitting on their blue chippers. Well, if we can get a little pie in the sky and a little sunshine and rainbow on a rainy afternoon in Jacksonville.
It do be raining.
Trevor's playing well. We like what we see out of ETN. We like what we see out of Trayvon Walker, and we have high hopes for Lloyd, but we can't even grade it yet.
Yeah.
That's 3 guys now in the last 2 years picked in that first round that we have good vibes about, feel good about. That could be an excellent story for the Jacksonville Jaguars as they try to turn this thing around. One other question about Trayvon before we head to break. I mean, is there something we can be picky about? I mean, are there any holes? I would say people will always say about a young pass rusher, there's not enough in the arsenal, right? I mean, you're going to get stonewalled sometimes if you're just using your athletic ability. And I've heard that a little bit. Some of that's crept in. But that's it. Like, I'm trying to find something else. I mean, heck, the guy on his first snap in the NFL had a penalty against him, and we actually all loved it.
Yeah, we did. We did. He ran that man over and just was an unstoppable force and got the penalty.
And by the way, it's a BS penalty.
Horrible call. Horrible call.
So that's how good it is right now for Trayvon. Now, again, translate it. We all know that stuff. But that's a nice thing to have going for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I will say this about Trayvon Walker. His teammates rave about him, like in front of a microphone and privately. Like they know what physical freaks look like. At this level where we see a bunch of good athletes, they know the separators, and this kid's a separator for them. And the other thing I would say is that we only are scratching the surface on his versatility because they're not trying to put too much on his plate. And kudos to the staff for finally doing that. Just letting him go do one thing at a time.
Real quick before we go to break, 2 things. You brought it up, and I hadn't really thought about it to this point. How crazy is it that 3 years in a row they've had 2 first-round picks?
It's nuts.
And you've only really had one of them do anything to this point with Trevor. Yeah, you didn't have Travis.
You got 4 of them on your team still. Well, you got 5 of them on your team. C.J. Henderson, you traded away. But he was a bust and on his way to being one. Well, he is because you traded him away.
Right.
And Caleb Chason hasn't done much.
Yeah. So then going into last year, you had 4 in 2 years. Only one of them give you anything. And now you're going in with 6. You think you're going to get something from Walker and ETN, but, it's a wild. I never really put it into perspective like that. Second thing is, with the back-to-back number 1 overall picks, they picked 2 dudes that, as far as we've seen to this point, all-world people. There's no Jamarcus Russell situation in sight. These are 2 dudes that want to be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there's a bust every year, but it feels like they picked the same dude in terms of their mentality and personality for being a great player.
Well, let's just measure the picks that they made, right? You go C.J. Henderson. There's obviously some things there.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't make the kid a bad kid. There's just some things there. I would say this about Caleb Chason. I think he's a bad guy. But I think it was an immaturity about him when he came into the league. And I think that exists. I don't know well enough. I haven't seen enough this year and to judge that. But I think there was an immaturity about him. Again, doesn't make you a bad guy. Now you see the complete opposite. You see Trevor, who's you couldn't make anyone better from that standpoint. I think ETN has he knows how to handle it. The stage isn't too big. He's got this affable personality, big-time smile. Handled the injury well. Now you got Walker, who's really, from a personality standpoint, can go way under the radar because he's just a humble, quiet kid. And they did. You remember there was that accident story coming out of the draft time,
I do remember
and people tried to make it into the thing. It got squashed. There was nothing there. The Jags said they investigated it. Trayvon Walker said it was nothing.
Just unlucky,
There's nothing else that popped on it. So, by all accounts, you're right. I mean, they have really nailed the last 2 number 1 overall picks from a people standpoint, and it looks from a player standpoint. And we know Devin Lloyd, how we think about him from a people standpoint too. Yeah. So there's a lot more of that infused in the organization. And I try not to go overboard on that stuff because it's like, can you play well? That's really the key, right? We've had good players, good people around here before, but can you play? Well, these guys are starting to look like they can do both and check both boxes. Yeah. And that's a very comforting thing in Jacksonville. We'll be right back here on ESPN 690. Stay safe out there, storming like crazy in the Jacksonville area.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need, indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Back in the day, crime was someone stealing something off the patio. Today, it's violent crime. Oftentimes, the bad guys hack into cameras and doorbells, steal your privacy, and break into your house while you or your loved ones are home. Criminals today are much smarter and more violent. You simply cannot fight today's criminals with do-it-yourself alarms. That's why you need a safe touch security and surveillance system with its 5 layers of detection and protection. Number 1, the safe touch sign. Crooks know to stay away from safe touch houses. Number 2, cameras using analytic technology that alerts the bad guys they are on camera while simultaneously alerting you, the homeowner. Number 3, entry alerts that notify Safe Touch before the bad guys even enter. Number 4, the exclusive Safe Touch two-way communicator that immediately alerts local emergency authorities. And number 5, the Safe Touch central monitoring center that is right here and not in some remote out-of-state location. Don't delay. Demand is at an all-time high. Call and receive professional installation at no charge. 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com, state license EF233.
It's where I take my family to play golf, and you can take yours as well. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and it can be your golf destination. Enjoy your golf experience by calling 287-PLAY, 287-PLAY. Play some golf or maybe practice some golf at one of the newest facilities in the area. Grab some lunch or dinner, too. Southampton has it all. 287-PLAY for tee times and more. The Golf Club at Southampton, the home of the Dream 18. My home course. Make it your home course, too.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Out and about, you own it. In the know, you own it. On the course, you own it. At Community First Credit Union, you can own it all. Bank how and when you want to, and wherever life takes you with Community First. Get free checking with rewards and free digital tools that make managing your money simple and life simply better. Go ahead and own it. Add an account today at justbeyourself.com. Community First Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Celsius Essential Energy is Jacksonville's official energy drink of summer, and Jacksonville summers are fueled by Celsius. If you see ESPN 690 out and about this summer, come grab an ice-cold Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
Don't miss the gun show this weekend at the Ramona Pavilion featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more. There'll be concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Ramona Pavilion on Ramona Boulevard, Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the gun show.
Progressive presents Don't Do It Yourself.
Okay, fixing a water heater. Easy peasy.
Oh, yeah? So you know how to secure the skiff joint?
Yeah.
Detach the steam pump?
Takes 2 seconds.
And fasten the dew bolt to the pressure tube?
Yeah, my dad taught me how to do that.
Oh, that's interesting, because I made all those things up. Look, we should just bundle our home and auto with Progressive. We could save big, then pay someone to do it for us.
That's cool. This double's the wrong size anyway.
Save when bundling home and auto with Progressive and use the money to, not do it yourself. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Hey, have you been down to iCryo in St. Johns County yet? I hope you have. You maybe see a Martineau there. The kids are there all the time. My wife just went, I think, again today. I got to make it over there more often, but the Martineaus certainly do. iCryo in St. Johns County Pavilion at Durbin Park. And right now, until the end of August, for students and teachers, back-to-school specials that include $22 lifestyle services. That's like a $17 discount off a lifestyle service. Jump in that cryotherapy chamber. Check it out. How about red light therapy, sauna, compression? And you can do more things. Just $22. Give it a try. And they also have IV infusions that are discounted 22% at the moment until the end of August for a back-to-school special for students and teachers. iCryo in St. Johns County. Do what we do. Check them out. Go down there. Elevate your lifestyle at iCryo in St. Johns County, the Pavilion at Durbin Park. Brent Martineau, along with Casey Kurtz, Clay Harbor, is on his way up to the studios as well in just a couple of moments. So he will join us in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll talk more Jags and what else is going on around the NFL and some camps and get his thoughts on the Deshaun Watson situation. And we got a call in the break, and somebody asked, like, hey, do you think somebody will try to take a shot at Deshaun Watson, like extra? Will they be mad at him? Like somebody brought, just because of what he potentially did, or they have strong feelings about it. I don't know if that happens. Like, it's an interesting question. And some, again, that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I mean, largest fines and suspensions. I mean, the NFL players can't play like a bounty program. Like, you just can't do that. Do people take cheap shots and other things? Yeah, they do. But I'm just not sure these matters register internally to the point where it bubbles over that on a Saturday night you can't sleep as a player because you can't wait to hit Deshaun Watson because what he might have done or did. I don't think that's the case. I mean, maybe it is more than I believe, but I don't think that's the case. Again, by the time he plays in late November and December, you think these guys are emotionally tied into that story? Even if they were? You think it's, that would be some kind of like really hit hard story with an individual, and I just don't see it with the masses. So you may be talking about one player if that would be the case. So to answer that question, which is an interesting one, I think, I don't think that's the case. I certainly don't think that happens. And I'm trying to think about a situation in NFL history recently that might be the case. I mean, even if you go back to Michael Vick, I'm bringing up your topic here that the caller had, Casey.
Oh.
Like, you go back to Michael Vick, do you think anybody, like, by the time Michael Vick played again, was attacking Michael Vick for what he did? I don't think so.
I like dogs, so
yeah,
I might.
I know, but what I'm arguing is, like, the emotion. Let's just say you were really fired up about this Deshaun Watson situation, and your emotions are running high. Are your emotions running at the same level on a Sunday in December as they are right now?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't see that. I mean, a lot of things to worry about. Worrying about what Deshaun Watson did off the field and got suspended for. I just don't think that's a thing for a defender.
I understand the idea, though.
I get the question.
I wonder more with the question. I wonder about the teammates. Like, you're not gonna take a shot at the guy, but it's like we gotta like offensive line. We gotta protect you.
And by the way, he's in a
like,
leadership position.
Yeah.
Do you respect Deshaun Watson the way you did in the past? Maybe we'll ask Clay Harbor that question when we come back. He joins us, former Jags tight end, in studio once again on ESPN 690. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Mike Holmes, professional contractor and TV host. I love helping people, but when it came to improving the water in my own home, I needed help and turned to the water experts at Connecticut to make it right. My water was causing visible problems throughout my home, and it got me thinking about the problems I couldn't see. Protecting my water-using appliances and pipes, preventing stains and hardness buildup, and having clean, great-tasting drinking water are all important to me. But choosing the right water treatment equipment can be tricky. That's where Connecticut comes in. A Connecticut water expert will test your water for free and recommend the system that fits your needs and budget. Improve the quality of your water and your life with the Connecticut water treatment system. I'm so glad I did.
This year, CGC Water Treatment is celebrating 75 years in business. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com for your free assessment. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Call me, Mark Anajar, at the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Something big is in the cards. Best Bet is coming soon to St. Augustine. This summer, experience the best in world-class poker, simulcast wagering, and fun card games for all levels at our new location in St. Augustine. This new Best Bet location will also feature a state-of-the-art sports bar with large flat-screen TVs, delicious wings, and a full-service bar. Located on 800 Marketplace Drive, right off exit 311. For opening updates about Best Bet St. Augustine, go to bestbetjacks.com.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sometimes the mortgage process can be a tricky one, a dead end for some. Not with Carrington Mortgage Services. They have a team that will find a solution for you. That's what they do. That's what they are experts in, finding loan solutions for unconventional borrowers. If you're self-employed or a freelancer, if you have low credit scores, if you're an investor looking to use cash flow to qualify, Carrington Mortgage Services will find a loan for you. CarringtonMortgage.com. Carrington Mortgage Services, LLC, NMLS ID number 2600, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
The biannual blowout is just a week away, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Keenan's Rug Emporium is rolling out a Labor Day bonanza.
That flat weave shipment coming in.
He needs 10 new sales associates as the crowds loom large.
Someone run a stock check on all the Moroccan 8x10s?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup sound experiment. We're looking to find the perfect way to hear Reese's so you'll buy more of them. Here we go. Reese's. 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 Hey, get out of here, you little stinker. Reese's.
Reese's. Reese's.
Peanut Butter Cups. That breathy one sounded very creepy, am I right?
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
Doug Brown, before former New Jersey Attorney General Peter Harvey could make a ruling, the NFL and the Players Association reach a settlement. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson gets an 11-game suspension and a $5 million fine. Watson met with the media today.
I'm moving on with my career and my life.
and I'm continuing to stand on my innocence. Just because, settlements and things like that happen doesn't mean that a person is guilty for anything. I feel like a person has the opportunity to stand on his innocence and prove that, and we proved that on the legal side, and we're just going to continue to push forward as an individual and as a person.
Watson will be evaluated by behavioral experts and follow a treatment program in order to be reinstated. Giants quarterback Daniel Jones says today he had a non-football related procedure on his neck over the winter. Jones says the procedure was not related to the neck injury that kept him off the field for the last 6 games last year. Baseball today, Albert Pujols with a pinch hit grand slam against the Rockies, career home run number 690. The Cardinals lead 13-0 in the ninth.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine Studios. This is Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau.
They know the lane they picked. When they let Allen Robinson walk, it traded Khalil Mack, it took the dead cap hit, whatever insane amount of money it was for this year. They understand the lane Ryan Poles has picked, and they're going to have over $100 million in cap space. They're not going to be very good. They're going to have a high draft pick, and I believe in Justin Fields. I do. I think they're going to try and have their culture be better, run the football more, which Matt Nagy refused to do enough. It is what it is. It's not going to be a great season. We'll see what they can squeeze out of this roster, and then it's go time.
It'll really be go time by that point for Justin Fields in Chicago, because he'll be going into year 3, and there'll be a lot of pressure on Fields if it plays out like most people think it could, given the roster of Chicago. Now, guy that lives in Chicago and joins us right here on ESPN 690 yesterday and today. Now, he's going back to Chicago after this, but he's a little more bullish on the Bears than most people are. I mean, a little. I mean, I don't think you're predicting them to do anything crazy. But you've seen them up close, and you like Justin Fields, and you like Eberflus? You like that hire?
I do. I like Eberflus. He brings a lot of energy. The first thing I walked in practice, I watched Bears camp probably 5-6 days. I was there the first day of pads. First thing I noticed, I go, Eberflus is bringing some serious energy. And I also love the hire of Luke Getsy. I know he's a Packers guy, and he had Aaron Rodgers for a number of years. And how's he going to react going from Aaron Rodgers to Justin Fields? I mean, that's a tough downgrade going from Hall of Famer. I'm not saying anything bad about Justin Fields there, but, hey, it's Aaron Rodgers versus Justin Fields. They're 2 completely different style quarterbacks. So I really like the hire. He brought a lot of energy. I think him and Poles have a good plan. I think they work together well, and I can see it starting to come together. I see what they're doing, and I think the team will be better than a lot of people think. I've been to these camps. I've seen them play. I've been around a lot of camps in my day. I think this team will surprise some people.
Clay Harbor with us on ESPN 690. I'm a Justin Fields fan. I know you haven't probably heard my take on Fields, but for a long time it looked like the Jags were going to have the number 2 pick, going all the way back to that draft. And I was all signed up for Fields. I don't know if they would have taken him. We just recently had this conversation. Would they have taken Zach Wilson? Would they have taken Fields? Would Urban have taken Fields? Who knows? But I thought he was that next guy, and I was bullish on him. In fact, I'm bullish on a lot of the quarterbacks out of that draft. I think they are going to be good players. I don't know who's going to step up and be elite players, but I think Fields has the goods. But I've seen this happen around here. Heck, you've seen it happen around here and in other places. If you can't find some positive momentum and you get stuck in a rut and you start going on year like late in your second year and third year and there's not a lot going on and you're asked to do too much by yourself, well, then you can really fall into these situations where there's too much scar tissue to overcome. You lose your confidence. The fan base loses confidence. And then all of a sudden, people's jobs are on the line because you're not performing well. So it's a vicious cycle if you don't surround him sooner than later. And I guess that's my big concern in Chicago. If they really aren't good, and he goes 2 straight years of not being set up nicely, versus these other guys where Trevor now, they went out and spent money. Zach Wilson, they've spent picks and money. Yeah. Mac Jones is surrounded by the greatest coach maybe in the history of the game. Trey Lance, he's surrounded by Shanahan and all that talent.
Yeah.
You could really look at this guy and Justin Fields and say, man, they set this guy up to fail.
Yeah.
Even if he might have been good.
So, they did Trevor Lawrence a disservice last year when he's playing with Urban Meyer. I felt bad for the guy, but you know who even got a bigger disservice with what he was given? Is Justin Fields. You look at Justin Fields. This guy comes in as the third string quarterback when they draft him. They tell him they're not going to play him. They're going to sit him. He's got time to learn. Okay? You have Nick Foles as a number 2. You have Andy Dalton as a number 1 coming into the season. Justin Fields doesn't think he's going to play. From that point, he can't be the leader of the team. He can't even attempt because you got Andy Dalton's team. All preseason, all training camp, all OTAs. This is Andy Dalton's team. So he can't take over that leadership position. He can't be a leader at that point. The biggest disservice is the fact that this guy in OTAs and training camp is taking number 3 quarterback reps with an offense that's not set for him. So he is playing with the guy from Michigan, Southern Tech State University, Poly, that's going to be working construction next year. Not only is he playing with those guys, and he's not getting an accurate look of what the NFL looks like, the speed, the consistency, that's who he's playing against last year. All training camp, all OTAs, he is playing against 3s, Justin Fields. So his first time seeing real NFL live talent is when he steps in the game when Andy Dalton goes down and then he gets named the starter. And now this guy's playing NFL football for the first time in his life. He's not the leader. Andy Dalton's the leader. He's never saw a starting linebacker. He's never saw a starting cornerback break on a ball. He's never saw a starting safety break on the ball. There's a difference. When I was playing football, if I made a play and I was playing with the 2s or the 3s, I discounted it. I got to be better than these guys. I'm going to be starting on Sundays, and I got to make plays against the starting defense. It's not the same. So the fact that he did that all last year and was able to even do what he did, in my opinion, was impressive. He's had a bumpy camp. He's had some ups and downs. But this year, he's at least been playing with the 1s all season. He is the leader of that team. Everybody's looking to him. He's the leader. He's playing with the 1s. He's getting those reps. And he's got better talent around him than people think. Cole Kmet will have a big year this year. I know tight ends. Cole Kmet, this guy's massive. I'm standing next to him. I get in the field. I turn around. He looks like the guy from Happy Gilmore. I believe that belongs to Mr. Gilmore. I go, this is Cole Kmet? This guy's 6'6", 6'7", 260 pounds. And Brent, me and you were talking about schemes and how there's tendencies when you have to move a tight end into block, you have to move a tight end into catch passes. Cole Kmet can block. He's a guy that you want to run a seam route, you want to run a deep over, you want to run a power, you want to run an ISO, same guys in the game.
Playbook's open.
Playbook's completely, you don't have to bring Evan Ingram in and try to scheme together some package to where you can send him on a route, but then, okay, now we want to run the power. We got to bring Chris Manhertz in with Luke Farrell, but okay, now we want to bring, Dan Arnold in for this. Cole Kmet is able to do everything. And that's what I saw at Bears camp. And some of these people on Twitter, when I tweet that I think Cole Kmet will be a top 10 all-around tight end this year, are crushing me. Because this guy can do everything. This guy can block, he can catch, and he can run. So he will be on the field all the time for the Bears, and he will be a big asset for our man, Justin Fields.
Well, it's
I'm
interesting
with you, Clay,
take
by the way.
On who, Kmet?
Yeah, so it's funny that you brought this up, Clay, because I was going to ask you.
I look really small on the video feeds
tiny,
right
bro.
now, by the way.
You look tiny. I'm trying to
really small.
Do one of these. No, but
I might just stand up.
Well,
Do the show standing up in a squat position the whole time.
yeah, just squat for the next hour. You'll be ripped after it. Clay, you'll find out with this show, Brent invests most of his money in crypto, and I do in sports cards, right? So my sports cards thing, I'm writing an article right now for the website. The top 3 guys that I invested in the offseason, one of them's Cole Kmet. So I was going to ask you how you felt about Cole Kmet, and then you just brought it up anyway, so now I'm even more excited about my investment in Cole Kmet rookie cards because you love him and you know what you're talking about.
You're not ripping them on Twitter.
No, I'm with it. I think Cole Kmet's going to be a problem for the other defense, so I'm just happy you brought it up.
Oh, your investment may have just gone through the roof.
Feel good about it now. Feel good
He's
about
got
it.
Trey Lance. You're buying low. You got Cole Kmet. This is excellent. Brent Martineau, Clay Harbor, Casey Kurtz.
that whole tight end group in Chicago is not they don't have the big sexy name guys, but they got James O'Shaughnessy and Ryan Griffin is the 2 and 3. Griffin's played in the league for 11 years.
Yeah.
James O'Shaughnessy, I think, is 8 or 9. He played here. You remember O'Shaughnessy.
For a long time, yeah.
He's a good player.
He is.
He's a guy that can do
healthy,
everything.
but yeah.
He can't stay. If these two guys stay healthy, O'Shaughnessy and Ryan Griffin, they're guys that can do everything too. They're the type of guy I feel like I wasn't a guy that wanted to be, is like, I can run routes or I can block. I want to be able to do everything. They can go 13 personnel and they can pound the rock. Then they can go 13 personnel and they can split these guys out because they're all comfortable in those situations. So I think that's something that the national media isn't really taking into account with the Bears and Justin Fields. And then Darnell Mooney. I think he's a top 20 receiver. He was graded out top 20. I think this year he goes up to top 15. I think they have David Montgomery was ranked the NFL top 198th this year for last season. He missed 4 or 5 games. This year he's a top 50 player. He's an incredible running back. He averaged 3.8 yards per carry last year. That's not good enough. He was getting hit behind or at the line of scrimmage on 70% of his runs. It was a valiant effort for him on half his runs to get back to the line of scrimmage. The offensive line, PFF for the Chicago Bears, ranked 32 out of 32. Receiving corps ranked 31 out of 32. I think they're wrong. I think Riley Reif is a guy I played with in Detroit. He's got pride. He's a veteran. He's not going to let this team, this offensive line, be embarrassed in the worst offensive line in the league. Schofield, he's another veteran guy. He will not let that happen. He had a rough day. He had a couple bad plays in the preseason game, but I like this guy. Lucas Patrick's about to get healthy. Braxton Jones, left tackle, rookie, 5th-round pick. Poles did a great job of drafting guys this year. Jaquan Brister, I mean, he looked like Ed Reed in his first playoff. I'm not saying first preseason game. I'm not going to say he's Ed Reed, but he looked good. And these guys are coming together. I think the Bears, they're not going to win the Super Bowl. Sorry, Chicago, but I think they can win 7.
I think
8
they
games.
believe that.
Yeah.
You said one thing, real quick thought before, and then I want you to tell us this Chip Kelly story about he almost turned you into a linebacker. But you said something that's interesting. You didn't count the reps when it was against the 2s and 3s, like in your own mind. I wonder about, like, the Jags really got worked the last couple of games with backups. And you kind of do wonder, like, what is the drop-off? I warned Jackson, it's like, listen, don't be crazy about this. You never play 22 second-teamers at a time, right? Or 11 and 1, 11. You're never missing that many starters or the season's gone anyway. But is there a significant drop-off? I'm sure there's fringe-like starters. But when you have, like, a quality team, that drop-off between first and second team, is it pretty substantial?
Honestly, it usually is. It depends on the team. Sometimes you'll have a player here or there that's a guy that, he might be just as good as a starter. But when you go statistically throughout the whole line of backups, it's a big drop-off. They're not working together as much of a unit. You got guys that aren't used to playing together. They're getting patched in here or there. It's a big difference. And everybody took it as a discount. You make a play, oh, yeah, you made that on him. Who's that guy? It matters who you go against in camp as much as it matters what you do as far as being evaluated. If you got a guy that's tearing up the 3s, you take that with a grain of salt. Okay, what's he going to do against the starter? And then you put him up against the starter, and then you see what happens. If he can still do that, then that's impressive. So it is a big difference to go against the 1s, the 2s, and then the 3s is a big drop-off because a lot of them are undrafted guys that are, they're just happy to have the uniform right now.
Yeah, and it's hard to be a third-team guy and make the roster given a 53, right? Or be an active guy on game day if you're a third-team guy. Clay Harbor with us. All right, so Doug Peterson, you see him today. He comes off the podium. He sees Clay Harbor, and he says, I might try to maybe play at linebacker a little bit. There's a little backstory to that, it sounds like, that you later would tell some of the folks out there. Now tell us.
Yeah, so since, Duval's had their fair share of college coaches coming in and trying to do their own thing. But in Philly, my 4th year, Chip Kelly comes in and takes over for Doug's regime at the Philadelphia Eagles. Coach Reed, Doug Peterson, Mike Caldwell, the linebacker coach, was there as well. Matt Nagy was our assistant quarterbacks coach. So we had a big tree there of guys that ended up. Mike Kafka is an offensive coordinator. He was actually on the team. So Chip comes in. They draft Zach Ertz, re-sign Brent Selleck, sign James Casey, bring in a guy named Derek Carrier still playing too. I went from being the number 2 tight end to being the number 7 tight end without taking a snap.
Whoa!
And I'm not trying to cause you problems. Going through OTAs, all the pre-practice stuff, and Chip calls me into his office one day. He goes, "Hey, Clay, we really like your athletic ability. We think you're a good athlete." I'm like, "Oh, thanks. So maybe you'll move me up from the 7th team tight end if I'm such a great athlete. Maybe that can happen." And no, he went a different direction. He goes, "Yeah, we're going to move you to outside linebacker." And this is a 3-4 outside linebacker. This is rushing the passer type stuff and doing zone drops. And I'm outside linebacker? This is my 4th year. And I played 4 years at tight end in the NFL. And, he talked me into giving it a shot and going to play outside linebackers. Move me to outside linebacker. Next day, I'm out there. I'm trying to pass rush against Jason Peters. I'm trying to pass rush against Lane Johnson. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know the calls, the terms, the zone drop, and I don't know how to backpedal. Do I ever backpedal as a tight end? No.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. So I ended up playing linebacker for about 5-6 practices. I went up after that, and I realized that I'm not an outside linebacker. This isn't something I'm good at. But Chip still wanted me to play there, and I actually asked him to release me, and he said no, he wouldn't release me. And then he told me I couldn't play tight end. He didn't think I could play tight end in this league. So Chip ends up moving me back to tight end as a 7. Long story short, the end of the year, they end up moving me to wide receiver. Chip, another one of his brilliant ideas. And I'm playing with Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin, Jason Avant, Riley Cooper at wide receiver. I lose weight, and he ends up cutting me anyways. Tells me to keep me. "Oh, we like you at wide receiver." I'm like, okay. So I'm losing weight. End up getting cut. The Jaguars were the worst team in the league the previous year. Sorry, Duval.
Sounds about right.
And they're first in the waiver wire.
Yeah.
So as I get cut with the Eagles, the first team in the waiver wire is Jacksonville Jaguars. I get the call. My agent says a bunch of teams claimed me. Chip said I couldn't play in the league. Why'd all these teams try to claim me, Chip? End up signing with Jacksonville. First day of practice here in Duval, Mercedes Lewis strains his calf. So I think I'm going to be brought up slowly. Like, I'll have some time to, learn the offense. All right, Clay, you're starting. I'm like, oh, great. Now I'm playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, where my Philadelphia Eagle coaching staff just took over. Andy Reid, my tight end coach, first play of the year. I'm starting at tight end, and we run a 15-yard pass. I catch the first pass of the entire season, 2013 season, against my old coaching staff, back at tight end, weighing a hefty 229 pounds.
Wow.
Because I had lost 15 pounds. I remember looking over to the sideline, seeing my tight end coach, Tom Melvin, seeing Doug Peterson, Coach Reed, all these guys. I'm like, wow, man, NFL's crazy. Go jog back to my sideline, and, then the next thing you know, I'm in Duval for several years.
Crazy thing about that game, I believe, would have been the Jags scored a safety to open the scoring, and then it lost 26-2 or 27-2 or something.
That's all we scored all game. Yeah.
And then end up 2-14. The Chiefs actually end up 2-14 as well, with 6 Pro Bowlers that year, I believe.
The Chiefs were 2-14 that year?
Is that 2000? What year would that have been? 13?
That would have been 2013.
Okay, it was the previous year. They were 2013. That's why they had Reed.
Yeah,
because so they got you guys got Luke Jokel.
Yeah,
Jags beating.
Yeah,
and then Fisher went there.
Yeah.
So okay, so I'm kind of mixing the two, but I think that was a 27-2 game.
Yeah, we scored. I remember
game.
We got a safety and everybody was hyped up, and then we ended up tying the NFL record for punts in a game. And I was on the punt team. I've never been more tired in my life. We're just running down the field, and I'm like, "Are we punting again?" We'd get off the side, we punt the ball, we'd go to the sideline. Next thing you know, we're on the field, 3 plays, punt team again. I'm like, man, this is tough. Just
welcome
punt,
to Jacksonville.
punt.
Yeah. Logan Cook's a hell of a player still.
Yeah.
He wasn't there then, but he is now, and he's a heck of a player for them. Clay Harbor, how unusual is that? Like, have you heard of that? Because listen, tackles sometimes go to guard, center goes to guard. There's certainly position versatility, right? You hear that. You can play different linebacker spots. I mean, corners play the nickel spot. There's things like that. But to go from tight end to a linebacker, like that was so outside the box. And that was Chip, though, right? I mean,
Chip Kelly, he the genius, man, and he did a couple of things like that. I remember there was a couple other position changes, but you don't see offense to defense is tough. The reason it's so hard is because there's terms in the NFL that are universal. Every offense is going to use certain terms. You're going to know how to do the basic plays. That's why a guy can get cut and he can play the next week. To go to defense, it was literally like I was trying to learn hieroglyphics. It was incredible. It was like, what am I looking at here? I don't know these terms. I don't know anything to do with defense. And to do it now, there's no way I'm going to be ready to play defense at the start of this season. And, I would have honestly, I think it would have been funny to see me out there playing defense in an actual game. But, I'm happy I obviously moved back to tight end. But
fascinating part of that story is it wasn't just a concept. Like, you actually went out and did it for 5 or 6 days. I think your Wikipedia page should be updated and say tight end / linebacker.
Tight end / linebacker / wide receiver with Jeremy Maclin and Deshaun Jackson. Man, that was crazy.
That's great stuff.
Yeah.
Clay Harbor, more with Clay Harbor coming up. Deshaun Watson, how do you feel about that situation? That's on the way. And also, we put Clay to work today. He interviewed his former Detroit Lions teammate out at Jags camp. We get to judge him as an interviewer.
First one.
Don't even have him on the payroll, and you're putting him to work.
Diving into this thing, man. He's all in. 2 days in Jacksonville, it's like boot camp.
By the way, the people on the stream are sending me bar graphs of how small you are. I'm in the middle, and then Clay's bigger than both of us. Like, it's like a perfect line.
I don't know what
now.
happened here. Can I zoom in on me?
I don't know what happened. I didn't move the camera, Brett. I left to go open the door. I come back, and you're 6 feet smaller.
I don't know what happened here. I tell you that, though. I'm like very tan, I can tell in this video.
You do look good, Brent.
Well, thanks.
You didn't wear
I didn't say
sunscreen
good.
today.
I just said I'm very tan.
He's been doing that. He hasn't worn sunscreen any of the days. He comes in burnt as all belief every day.
We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Sunshine, heat, and humidity will give way to again some heavy afternoon and early evening storms. Highs today in the lower 90s, dropping into the low 70s tonight. And partly cloudy for your Friday, but again in the afternoon, some heavy showers and thunderstorms with a high near 90. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing with nothing down. ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8214. 904-664-8214. That's 904-664-8214.
A new era is here for Jaguars football. New championship-winning coach, new superstars, and new optimism. One consistent this fall is Tailgaters Parking will still be delivering the very best tailgating experience at the bank all season. Tailgaters Parking doesn't just talk a big game. They're right across the street from TIAA Bank Field. Offer clean, permanent restrooms, food options, a full liquor bar, and all parking spots are on a well-kept grass lot. Check out Tailgaters Parking at tailgatorsparking.com to reserve your spot today.
To
Tobacco-Free Florida knows how hard it is to quit nicotine, which is why we offer different quit options to choose from for free, like 24/7 quit coaches available over the phone and free 2-week starter kits of quit aids. We're even experimenting with 80s pop music.
I'm giving you up, giving you up, giving you up. I'm letting you never come back to smoke. I'll never come back to smoke. I'll never come back. I'm giving you up.
Or maybe we'll just stick to the ways we know work. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com or call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW for free nicotine patches.
Sometimes the mortgage process can be a tricky one, a dead end for some. Not with Carrington Mortgage Services. They have a team that will find a solution for you. That's what they do. That's what they are experts in, finding loan solutions for unconventional borrowers. If you're self-employed or a freelancer, if you have low credit scores, if you're an investor looking to use cash flow to qualify, Carrington Mortgage Services will find a loan for you. CarringtonMortgage.com. Carrington Mortgage Services, LLC, and MLS ID number 2600, Equal Housing Lender.
UFP Folkestone, the #1 site-built construction plant in Georgia, is now hiring for multiple departments. We've been around since 2016, and we're located in, you guessed it, Folkestone, Georgia. Around here, we're more than just coworkers. We're like family, and we're part of an international family of companies with a long history of promoting from within. So if you like to work hard and get rewarded for it, this is the place for you. Check out our openings at ufpi.com/careers. Celsius Essential Energy is Jacksonville's official energy drink of summer, and Jacksonville summers are fueled by Celsius. If you see ESPN 690 out and about this summer, come grab an ice-cold Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
Bank how and when you want to with Community First. Get free checking with rewards and free digital tools that make managing your money simple and life simply better. Add an account at justbeyourself.com. Community First Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Research shows listeners don't like it when ads interrupt their music. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual customizes home insurance, we made this ad optional. If you want to skip this ad, remove your left earphone. Liberty Mutual customizes home insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
If you're missing this informative ad, you must love wasting your cash.
It's the easy and smart way to save.
Now it's all been said, so if that earphone was out, put it back in your head.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are. Chickle.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
You know, we've got some young ascending players, quite honestly, that have really kind of caught our attention, caught our eye. There's some nice competition there with Izzy and Jay and some of the other moves we can do. And so it's a tough decision. Obviously, we've done this before, but Malcolm was great for this team, great for the room, great for leadership here for the time he was here, and wish him well, and obviously now it's an opportunity that he can, potentially get picked up by another team.
That is Doug Peterson on Malcolm Brown. I think the Malcolm Brown move is a business decision. And this is the way I don't have a lot of inside information here. It's all still kind of fresh. But to me, it looks like a business decision. You save $3 million against the cap. He's aging, 32, I think. You have Jay Tufele, who was a 4th-round pick last year, which you really haven't seen much out. And again, I was told that he might be up against it with this new scheme change, but he's obviously done an okay enough job. And so the way I look at this is that Tufele and Brown, there wasn't enough separation to say, okay, we're going to eat the 4th-round pick and the $3 million. Instead, it's like, hey, you know what? Either Tufele's outperforming him or it's close enough where we want to see what the 4th-round pick has, and we're going to save $3 million against the cap. That's the way I think this turned out in the Malcolm Brown situation. And, of course, in a nice way, they give him enough time to go find another team and a home, and he probably will get one. I think Malcolm Brown still got some football in him, but it's probably worth going with the younger guy right now for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think it's perfect. As a player, fear is you're released, you're the last cut of the team. Then guess what? You have 1 week to learn an offense or defense, and then you're out in the field. So this is good that Doug's doing it now. He's giving him an opportunity. He knows the guy can play. He's going with the younger guy, saving money, and he's not going to wait on it. And as a player, that's what you ask for. Hey, if you don't see me here, don't string me along. Release me. Let me go. Let me play in another team and try to learn an offense and catch on. Give me a fair shake here to show what I can do with them so I can make another roster. And, that's what it's about with players. Obviously, you want to be on the team you're on, but you want to get as many years as you can to take care of your family and just keep playing in the league and keep putting in good film and picking up an offense or defense. So that was a good thing to do by Doug, and I think that's why people speak so highly of him in the league, is because he's a guy that will do things like that. A lot of coaches might keep him around. What if an injury happens and then we gotta, but if you're not planning on keeping him, the injury, say it's 5%, 10% chance, let him go and do right by him, and then that builds his reputation around the league.
And by the way, it also sits well amongst the league and agents and other things when you do things like that. The Jags actually have done a pretty good job of those kind of business moves over the years, and then they get hammered for some, right? That's whether it's the Yannick Ngakoue situation or Jalen Ramsey situation. But I think they have done some things, like in the Caldwell era, right? I mean, it was Senderick Marks, they gave him a deal in December. Alan Hearns, they gave him an early deal. And those were like locker room kind of deals. Like, hey, we're going to take care of you. And then there are other things that countered some of that didn't, of course, played bigger in the spotlight that weren't so good. I want to get your thoughts, speaking of not so good, on Deshaun Watson as a player. Like, what are they doing? What are they saying in the locker room right now? And maybe as a media guy on the outside now looking in, not in the locker room, your thoughts on Deshaun Watson? 11 games, $5 million, which that is a hefty fine now for a player. It's the biggest one that I can find in NFL history. And 11 games is a big suspension. There's been some year suspensions, but 11 games is a big suspension. You can argue whether it's enough. Some of your early thoughts on Deshaun Watson as this comes down today.
So there's a multitude of thoughts I have on it, and I've talked to several guys that are in the league, and we all think the same thing. It's like, wow, like this is just such an unfortunate situation. And obviously, like a guy having that many massage therapists, usually as a football player, you find one person you like, and you stick with them, maybe two in case they're on vacation.
And almost anything you do, right? Needling, cupping,
you have your
whatever.
person. You have the person you like, and you stick with them. So that, to me, is very, very odd. And obviously, we've seen like some of the transcripts of some of the depositions that they've went through and heard how bad some of that stuff was. But huge fine, huge suspension. And I was worried that it wouldn't happen because there was nothing illegal. He didn't legally get charged with anything.
That's right.
For a guy that wasn't charged with anything legal, breaking the law, obviously there were civil suits, but he wasn't legally charged. He's not spending any time in jail or prison or anything like that. He's not even getting looked at for that. So I think this was actually the right thing to do for the league. The Browns made it hard with the deal they gave him. Everything's backloaded. Everything's guaranteed. So it's hard to really take that much money away from him and give him a punishment. And the fact that all this comes out and happens, and then he gets a $230 million contract, it's almost like he's being rewarded for this behavior. Didn't sit right with a lot of people. So I think this is something that the NFL fans wanted to see, and everybody even close to the game wanted to see. You got to punish a guy for behavior like that, and you don't want to reward something like that and make people think that, hey, this is okay. So I think they did a good job coming back, looking at it, making it more severe. And a $5 million hit is $5 million, I know, for Deshaun Watson. If you want to go percentage of income, it's probably not that much. But, I mean, that's $5 million. So that's more like $10 million if you're thinking about a contract value, because taxes, Uncle Sam is going to get his fair deal. There's no beating that. So I think they did a good job of making it more strict. And we talked about this on the break. I've experienced something similar when I was with Philly and Michael Vick. So that it's just, it draws some comparisons.
Yeah, Brent Martineau, Clay Harbor, Casey Kurtz, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 here in Jacksonville. And that's totally different situation. But just to kind of give a little background on what you were talking about, you were in Philly when Vic came back, had served time in prison. He was making his comeback, and that was the first year of it. So, and what I had asked you in the break, and what's interesting here is they play a position of leadership. Deshaun Watson, Michael Vick at the time. I think the locker room is an incredible place because it's this melting pot of ethnicities and socioeconomic backgrounds and beliefs. I mean, heck, when the political stuff was going on a few years back, like really hit this fever pitch, if you look at a locker room, you could obviously have a lot of conversations, debates, loud ones at the way this thing was going, just from a political standpoint. And I bet it happened around the league.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you have different beliefs, I think you can get a one-off situation where, hey, I don't want to follow that guy. You guys felt, how did that go with the Vic situation? How do you think it will go with the Watson situation from a teammate perspective?
So for the Vic situation, since I can speak on this and I'm not speculating, we thought that Mike, he obviously nobody agreed with what he did. It was, a horrible thing, but Mike spent 2 years in federal prison, Leavenworth, Kansas. Federal prison. The guy did his time. There's people that murder people and don't get that much time. We thought, hey, this guy served his time. This is how our system works, our laws, and now he's back. And I wished him the best. Then he ends up, he's our backup quarterback. Kevin Cobb goes down week 1 against the Green Bay Packers. He's just a backup guy. It wasn't that big of a deal. Michael Vick's just on the roster. Then Mike's our starting quarterback. Then Kevin Cobb gets healthy, and Mike's still our starting quarterback. Ends up being an MVP candidate, and we make the playoffs. We lose to the Packers, the eventual Super Bowl champions, on the last second play. So that became more of a story when Mike started starting. You started seeing more of the people picketing outside of our facility, and it became a big thing. Should Michael Vick be able to do this because people see him now being so successful? And it became a deal for us. We said, hey, this is actually inspirational. A guy to fall from grace the way he did and to come back and be able to play the way he did, to go to Leavenworth, Kansas, federal prison, and to bounce back was impressive. For Deshaun Watson, I think it'll be a little different because he didn't serve any time. I think everybody can agree that there was definitely some wrongdoings there, and I feel like a lot of people didn't think that he really paid for those. But now with this new suspension, the new fine, I think that maybe some guys will think, hey, okay, maybe he, let's try to give him the benefit of the doubt here and move forward with him. He's your teammate, your quarterback. There's nothing you do about that, and that's all you're going to be able to do.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, the background story of this too, Casey, because if you Deshaun Watson, terrific player, but Michael Vick, terrific player, but he was respected. Let's take it before the dog stuff, right? When he was like, whoa, we've never seen this. And from a respect standpoint around the league, it was like, holy cow, this guy's doing stuff that I've never seen. And we're like 1% athletes. Deshaun Watson's playing good quarterback, but he's not that. I don't think he has nearly the amount of juice in terms of the respect of his game across the league that, again, Vic had at prior. And so now all of a sudden, after he serves time, you guys were in awe of this guy as a player at one time, whether you watch it during your college days, had played with him. I don't know if Watson carries that. And so I'm wondering now, is it going to take time for Watson to prove that again? Because he hasn't played. He's going to sit out 28 games, Casey.
Wow.
He's going to have to prove again that he is an elite player.
Yeah, I mean, he will. And from what you saw the other night, you haven't really proved that yet.
No,
so,
that was rusty, yeah.
I think he'll have to prove that. But, Clay, you mentioned playing with Michael Vick, and, obviously he served his time. If you were on that Browns roster right now, would you have not a problem, but would it be harder for you to rally around this guy as a leader because he didn't serve time in the way Michael Vick did?
Honestly, I'm going to try to keep myself separated from it, and I'm going to try to keep it strictly business. I'm going to do my job the best ability I can do it, and I'm going to listen to this guy in the huddle and on the field, and I'm just going to try to keep my personal feelings out of it because that's what you have to do. There's no way around it. I'm playing football for this team. I got to perform. I got people I'm taking care of. I got family that's counting on me. I'm going to play the best of my ability, and me and him are going to have the best connection I can on the field. And that's as far as I'm going to keep it. Even if I despise this guy, what he did, I can't on the field. I'm respecting him. I'm listening to him. I'm following into battle. But, off the field might be different. And I think you can separate that. I've seen teammates that did not get along at all that were really good together on the field. I've seen teammates that were best friends that just couldn't get it together on the field. So sometimes it just comes down to what you can do between those lines. Nobody cares about your relationship off the field. They care about your relationship on the field and what you can do in that circumstance.
And by the way, like self-righteous world, which we live in, social media and all this stuff, and everything's got to be like this self-righteous way a lot of times. And you don't want to hear probably that. It probably happens in your industry as well, too, or your business as well. Like, you don't know everybody's background here in this building. You don't know what everybody's done. The difference is everybody knows what every athlete's done. You know what I mean?
True.
And so you might be getting along with somebody or really good buddies with somebody and love working with somebody. Have you checked their background? I don't know. Like, or you don't agree with everything in their background or whatever it might be. And so I can see that. Like, I don't have a hard time seeing that because really at the end of the day, from a Deshaun Watson standpoint, let's just say you're Amari Cooper. If that guy plays well, probably means that I'm playing well.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, if it's good for him, it's probably good for me. And if it's good for him and it's good for me, it's probably good for us.
And that's
the end game.
I kind of wonder with that, like we talked about earlier, Brent, like if he comes back and he's not as good and Amari Cooper's playing better with Brissett or if they go get Jimmy G or something, then it's like, well, now you're taking away the targets and you're taking away my opportunity. So I wonder if that plays in if Deshaun just comes back and is rusty.
Well, I do think that. Now, you got to keep an eye on this with Deshaun Watson from a just playability standpoint. Can he get back to that level? I don't think you just pick it up and ride the bike again at that position. In my estimation, it's the hardest job in the world to be great at. The hardest job in the world to be great at is playing quarterback at an elite level. There are fewer of them, as I always say, than any profession in the world.
Last week didn't look good either.
There are more astronauts than there are good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So can you just not play for 28 games? Can you have all this stuff go and then just pick it up and be, man, I'm on the cusp of elite? Because I always thought he was like a cusp of elite guy. I'm not sure. He wasn't Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
He had numbers. He wasn't getting wins.
Yeah. And so can you get back to that? I think that's now the ultimate question from a teammate perspective.
Yeah.
And obviously the Browns' perspective, they spent $230 million on it. Ooh. This could really, I mean, listen, one thing about it, if Deshaun Watson doesn't ever get back to that level for whatever reason, this will set the Browns franchise back like more than a decade. It's already been a tough couple of decades.
Yeah.
But it was that kind of risky move on their part. We'll be back more with Clay Harbor, Casey Kurtz, Brent Martineau, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Thanks for all the support on the Dream 18 cards. We sold out of Dream 18 cards, and we're raising more funds for local charities through the Dream 18. Coming up next, it's a Dream 18 golf tournament, September 19th at the Golf Club at Southampton. Registration is now open. We'd love you to be a part of it. Buy a foursome, or maybe just play on an individual basis. Maybe it's a tee sign. Get your company involved. Here's how you register. Action Sports Jacks, Dream18.com. September 19th at the Golf Club of Southampton. Play on our Dream 18, Action Sports Jacks, Dream18.com. It's a busy time for many of us getting back in the swing of things. For us, football season. Maybe for you, the kids going back to school, and sometimes that can be a painful proposition if you have joint pain, any joint pain. And if you do, you need to call QC Kinetics. What QC Kinetics is doing for people here is nothing short of amazing. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. They're the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving lasting relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. QC Kinetics is in Mandarin and now in Ponte Vedra as well. They're growing because demand for these treatments is really off the charts. Modern advances in regenerative medicine allow those medical professionals to take the remarkable healing properties from your own body, concentrate them for maximum power, and put them directly in your aching joints so your damaged tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. All you have to do to get a free consultation is call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522, 904-274-5522, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra locations, 904-274-5522. Call QC Kinetics.
Well, that ding-dong doorbell company is at it again, admitting to giving out customers video footage over 11 times without the customer's knowledge or consent. This is outrageous. It's inexcusable. It's a breach of your privacy, freedom, and security. When a security company teams up with big tech companies, it means a privacy invasion of your home. It means your information is being sold and distributed without your knowledge. SafeTouch is on your side. SafeTouch equipment is installed by pros. SafeTouch doesn't collaborate with any big tech company. SafeTouch keeps your family secure without invading your privacy. SafeTouch allows you complete control of all your video footage and security, and you can be sure with SafeTouch that your doorbell and camera footage is safe and controlled by you and only you. Choose SafeTouch to fight crime and keep your privacy at the same time. Call SafeTouch today and check out what real security is all about and get free installation when you do. SafeTouch Security, doing what others can't for over 35 years. Call 888-723-8682 or visit safetouch.com. State license EF233.
Hey, poker players! The Summer Heater Poker Tournament Series is at Best Bet Jacksonville from 11th to the 21st, featuring 11 different poker tournaments, including the main event, a no-limit hold'em tournament with a $1,500 buy-in from August 19th to the 21st. If you're looking for an exciting poker tournament this summer, visit us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Florida's largest poker room. View the tournament and satellite schedule at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com. Don't miss it.
Never paint your house again. Living in Florida, we don't really worry about the seasons except for one, hurricane season. And since your home is the most important asset, protecting your home with Rhino Shield against the harsh Florida weather is good for your house and it's good for your budget. This hurricane season, call Rhino Shield today and receive 30% off your entire job. The bottom line with Rhino Shield, you'll never have to paint again.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done. With 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning. It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
When I have two things I believe in, I always check myself a lot. I always compare it to how I buy houses. Like when my wife would bring me to a house she loves, I go through the house and I point out every single thing that's wrong with it. No, I realize the things that were wrong, and I know we can fix those three things. So let's go off the potential of this. And that's how I was with him and Mac, because Mac had so much good stuff on tape the way he played. And Trey, I loved what he put on tape. It was a year of football, so it wasn't totally enough, and especially the division. But the more you dive into it, the more I got to know the guy, the more I got to find out some stuff about him, the more I believed in what I didn't see.
The face you just made, Brent, is the face I made the whole beginning of the sound. I was like, what is he? Because like I
He's
can see
comparing the quarterbacks to a house.
houses. Literally, the title of the sound is Kyle Shanahan, Why I Drafted Trey Lance Over Mac Jones. He's like, well, I go through a house and pick out what I don't like. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I love analogies, but I think you lost me there.
Yeah.
Shanahan.
By the way, I give credit to Shanahan for this. Not too many coaches will do that. In hindsight, after a guy's been drafted and played for somebody else, like this wasn't like right after the draft he's making that comment. No. This is like a year and change later. So it's an interesting observation for him to even shed that much light. And I'm not sure it was a ton of light. Maybe a house with not a lot of windows, but but I think it's pretty interesting that he would take the time to even do that.
Yeah.
In that respect, I was watching practice today with Clay Harbor, which is really kind of fun.
Yeah.
Used to do this with Austin a lot too, right? You out there, you learn the game. I never fancy myself as like an X's and O's guy. I didn't play football, so I don't sit there and I'm not a big fan of people in my seat that pretend like they know more football than they do, just to like pretend. And so
you're almost a kicker.
I mean, yeah, I can tell you if a kick went up in the uprights or not, And Santosa looks better. I can tell you, I can give you my observations. But when you watch it with when we used to do this with Austin, and remember he would take us to the wall that says it all, and he'd break down these plays. And now watching like the offensive side with you today, and he would tell me stuff like what's like from a tight end perspective.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting, and now you got me thinking a lot about this. There's a lot on Doug's plate.
Yes.
To hide or deceive the defense, piggybacking on what you said yesterday about the tendencies of the tight ends you could have. But I think I brought up my guy, Dan Arnold.
Yeah.
Where he could play a big role here.
Yeah.
Because Arnold is sneaky fast, and he kind of looks like the guy that can block and catch a pass. So
I like Arnold.
He might be more deceptive, but you really do like the guy that can be deceptive, and you're concerned about the guy that's maybe really Ingram in this situation, where even though he's a willing blocker, he's probably not going to be asked to do it very often.
Very often, he'll never be asked to do it. And yeah, Brent, you saw me call out those plays.
He did.
You saw, this is what they're going to do. I said, they have Manhurts and Farrell here at the end of the line. I go, it's a run to the strength. Run to the strength. I go, okay, this is, now we got Ingram. I go, he's going to sift to the other side of the line. Sifts to the other side of the line.
He actually used that word, sift.
It's a good word.
Yeah, it was good. And he actually sifted.
He sifted.
He sifted.
So you realize that there's tendencies.
I mean, I thought sifting was just a baking term.
No, you got to sift the line of scrimmage, Brent. That's the real term there. When you sift, the guy sifts through the line of scrimmage to the other side in a play action, or he sifts to the defensive end coming back. So
can't wait to use that watching with my wife.
Yeah, you should use that one.
Do you see it?
Evan Ingram won't be on the line, and they won't run to the strength with him blocking a defensive end. It just won't happen. The play is going to get blown up. And I'm not saying anything bad about Evan Ingram. It's just not the player he is. But when you get that player, you have to realize what comes with it, and that means you have to have a plan, because there's only a certain number of things that he can do. And you did mention your guy, Dan Arnold. He's fast and he can block, and I like him. I think you keep bringing him along. One day, Arnold could be a guy that could do everything. And you don't want to keep using the word tendencies. That's what the defense keys off of. These linebackers, these smart linebackers and safeties, they see tendencies. When I was here with Julius Thomas, Mercedes Lewis, and myself, we each had our own role. Julius was going to catch passes. Julius was Evan Ingram. Mercedes Lewis was Chris Manhurts. Mercedes Lewis was going to block, and he would catch an occasional pass. And for me, I was Luke Farrell and Dan Arnold combined. I was guys who do the blocking, the dirty work, do that kind of thing, start on all four special teams. But I did realize in teams, we talked to him after the game. He'd say, hey, you guys are showing some tendencies on tape. We know what you're going to doing just because of what you do. And I said, I know you know what we're doing. And the same is with certain wide receivers. Like you got a guy like with the Chicago Bears, N'Keal Harry. They love him for a blocker. The Patriots, guy's a great blocker. You put him in certain situations, like, okay, what's the odds we're running deep post? There's just certain tendencies that you have with these players that you got to be aware of. And some coaches can handle it, but sometimes, you kind of forget, you're getting lazy. You got guys that have their roles and you want to get them in certain spots to do certain things. And you realize that you're putting down the percentages of success, because when the defense knows what you're doing, they're going to be able to react to that split second quicker. And this is a game of inches. So that's my
shrinks
problem.
down the packages in the playbook.
Yeah.
Real quick before we go to break, I'm going to keep you one more segment if you don't have a flight to catch or a workout to get to.
Probably is both.
But, so do you think it's still a benefit, though, to have Ingram?
Yeah, I think it's a benefit.
I know we're talking about this kind of in a negative way because you might tell what is going to probably go on more so with him in the game, or you can eliminate some of the packages and plays out of the playbook from a defensive perspective. But as we said yesterday, he's a matchup guy, and you still think Doug can do a lot with him.
Ingram, so sub package, all bets are off. Something like that, you want a tight end like Ingram in third down. It's like you want a receiving running back. When you know you're going to throw the ball, unless you want to go 4 wide receivers, but now you can put Ingram in there with no worries. The only thing you're not showing is you're not going to pass pro. You know that he might chip, but he's not going to pass pro. But I think that Ingram's a guy that first thing I want to see is how defense react to him. Are they going to play him with a nickel, or are they going to treat him as a tight end? I think it's going to be 50-50. I think some teams will bring in a safety, a cornerback to even guard him because they realize that he's not that big. And if he can't prove that he can outmatch that corner or safety in the run game, that's how they're going to play him. If he can show that he can block, they put a cornerback or a safety on the line against him, and he can move that guy off the line. Now they're going to have to use a linebacker because he's too big and too strong for them to use his safety with him. And that's when you start taking advantage of the pass game. So he is a matchup problem. He's a guy that you're going to have to game plan for, but you say, hey, you're going to have a guy on the scout team who's going to wear a jersey that says 17. This is Ingram. This is how we're going to treat him this week. And they're going to have a plan. Okay, Ingram 17, so now you're the safety. So now you're going to come in and you're going to guard Ingram. Or we're going to have a linebacker on Ingram. He's 17. He's a guy you got a jersey on. And there's not many guys, that have that distinction. We've talked about that playmaker, ETN, Ingram, are guys that the defense is going to have to plan for.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot on Peterson's plate, right? Because he's got to spread it out, use the weapons, use other decoys, and
make sure that there's no tendencies.
And eliminate as many as you can to disguise it. It was fascinating. It's fun watching it out there. They used to say, Harbor's in the game. I know what's coming.
Yeah, it's a sift block.
We'll be back. Football at 5. One more segment, and we put Clay to work with Marvin Jones when we come back on ESPN 690. Walk into 904 Chiropractic and Injury Center, and it doesn't feel like you're going to the doctor's. Beautiful artwork of Jacksonville on the south side location, a laid-back atmosphere, and Rep Butler and his staff are really fun to talk to, and they are there to help you out. First-time appointments and adjustments, just $39 and maybe less pending your insurance. 904 Chiropractic and Injury Center. 3 locations, south side, St. Augustine, and the west side. Look them up at 904chiro.com. 3 locations, 904chiro.com.
Quitting nicotine isn't easy, which is why Tobacco Free Florida offers free tools and services like free 2-week starter kits of quit aids. We're also trying out music to help motivate smokers to quit.
Not another cigarette would be late. Now there's someone living tobacco free. It's you.
Wow. Okay. Maybe we'll just stick to the ways we know work. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com or call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW for free nicotine patches.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
UFP Folkestone, the #1 site-built construction plant in Georgia, is now hiring for multiple departments. We've been around since 2016, and we're located in, you guessed it, Folkestone, Georgia. Around here, we're more than just coworkers. We're like family, and we're part of an international family of companies with a long history of promoting from within. So if you like to work hard and get rewarded for it, this is the place for you. Check out our openings at ufpi.com/careers.
Sometimes the mortgage process can be a tricky one, a dead end for some. Not with Carrington Mortgage Services. They have a team that will find a solution for you. That's what they do. That's what they are experts in, finding loan solutions for unconventional borrowers. If you're self-employed or a freelancer, if you have low credit scores, if you're an investor looking to use cash flow to qualify, Carrington Mortgage Services will find a loan for you. CarringtonMortgage.com. Carrington Mortgage Services, LLC, NMLS ID number 2600, Equal Housing Lender.
With only 16 playoff spots up for grabs, anything could happen on the high banks of Daytona. Head to ESPN690.com and answer the trivia question correctly for a chance to win tickets to the Wawa 250 or even the Coke Zero Sugar 400. Or purchase your tickets by calling 1-800-PIT-SHOP.
Don't miss the gun show this weekend at the Ramona Pavilion featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more. There'll be concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Ramona Pavilion on Ramona Boulevard, Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the gun show.
You'd never knowingly feed your dog sawdust, but it's one of the most common fillers found in dog food today. Even the ones labeled healthy can contain powdered cellulose, otherwise known as wood pulp.
I'm veterinarian Dr. Marty Goldstein. Your dog needs a biologically appropriate diet. That's why I developed Nature's Blend, a freeze-dried raw food, premium cuts of meat, omega-3 rich seeds, and superfood veggies and fruit.
This is my dog Cleo. She's a 10-year-old Chihuahua. Before we started Dr. Marty's food, she was really not spunky, a lot of digestion problems, joint pain.
Nature's Blend is made in North America and is pantry safe.
Now she acts like a little puppy. She's running around.
For a limited time, save 54% off Nature's Blend and receive a free pack of premium dog treats. Go to drmartypets.com/good or text GOOD to 511-511.
I guarantee it with a 100% 90-day return of your purchase price.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to one additional text. Text stop to opt out.
For survivors of domestic violence in Duval and Baker counties, Hubbard House provides free, confidential emergency shelter and services. Call our 24-hour hotline at 904-354-3114.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar. Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau.
I mean, it's a tough situation, but at the end of the day, I have to continue to make sure that I'm around as much as possible as I can be, and just continue to put in the work and let, support the guys that's around, support this team. I know these guys are going to do very, very well. We're all professionals. We all here to do a job and to accomplish a goal, and that's win games. And I know the guys in that locker room are going to do that.
That is Deshaun Watson today discussing his suspension. He's out 11 games, $5 million fine, and that's the end of it now. No more appeals or anything else. That's the conclusion. And the Deshaun Watson situation is the book closes on him until we see him on November 28th, ironically against the Houston Texans, of course. So for anybody who thought they didn't want to make Deshaun into a headline, and, well, the NFL's going to have themselves a headline on November 28th, Thanksgiving weekend, with Deshaun Watson playing against his former team. Cleveland's in this triumvirate, Casey, with you got the former team stuff. November 28th, and then you got Baker Mayfield to lead off the year against Carolina. I mean, amazing storylines surrounding Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland's got a storyline season coming up, but we'll see how it plays out. We'll see. I'm interested with Houston and how that's going to, they'll boo them, right? But,
oh, my gosh.
I just want to see how
that's a good call. Do they appreciate all the stuff that he did, or... See, I think they'll boo the heck out of him because you don't want to be a part of them anymore.
Well, yeah.
And once somebody turns on you, we saw that with Jalen, right? It's like, now he's like enemy number one. He left. Fans had his back through the whole mess of it until he left. And then when he left, it was like, see ya, dude.
Davis Mills is going to be carving them up. Tell you what.
Hey, Davis Mills cards, you have plenty of them, right?
Got a few of them, Brett. Hey, don't test
Clay's learning all about the card business here today.
He is.
I'm interested. I might have to invest in some.
Clay Harbor with us on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. You'll be doing you got to pump up the podcast a little bit. You do it with Mike Kay, who used to work in Jacksonville, cover the Jags. Is that going to be a nightly thing, a weekly thing?
It'll be a weekly thing. It'll be a weekly thing out there in Philadelphia. Me and Mike Kay will be talking Philadelphia Eagles, and I want to do some more Jag stuff too. But it'll be fun, and I love Mike. He has a great mind for the game. The guy loves football, and me and him have always gotten along from when he used to. It's funny enough, he covered the Jags and he covered the Eagles
I know.
because we've been to the same places, so we
Pretty
know a
wild.
lot of the same people. So it's a good match.
He named his kid after me.
His kid's name is Brent. Oh,
Yeah.
he texted me and told me to tell you that you were like the second best Brent or something that I knew. I was like, what is he talking about? I didn't realize he's talking about his kid.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have named him after Brent Selleck, or he might not have named him after anybody, but heck yeah, I'm claiming he named him after me.
You might as well, Brent. You know, might as
I
well
didn't
claim
even
it.
reply. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, Mike. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. I'll talk to you later. Forgot about it.
Do you think I got to ask you two things. We're going to get you caught up with Marvin Jones. So we needed an audible today. We're supposed to catch up with a different player. And then Jags PR was like, hey, we can bring you Marvin Jones. Like, okay, that's cool. And then I said, hey, you know what? Clay played with Marvin. So after he was done taking pictures with all his Bachelorette fans, I pulled him away and said, hey, you want to just jump in and do the interview? So we got that coming up. He did a fantastic job, I think, but you can be the judge in just a couple of moments. We'll say we're going to show a little bit of that on TV tonight to help promote your appearances here on ESPN 690. And we also are actually going to break. We found some old Clay Harbor video, and you were fighting Tyson Alualu.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Did you get in a lot of camp fights?
I got in fights every day.
Every day? I mean, listen,
Every
this
single
guy
day.
used to sit in that seat, like seriously got into
Yeah.
fights every day, Austin Lane.
Yeah, well, he does professional fights. Like, he's a guy that's literally in a steel cage fighting people. I had a helmet on. I don't want to fight you if I don't have a helmet on. You know, I'll fight you if I got shoulder pads and a helmet, and I would get in a fight with every day. Tyson, Jared Odrick, I think even
I could see
Sen
the Odrick
Derrick,
one.
Roy Miller, some of these old Jonathan Cyprian, Dwayne. I got in fights with everybody because they
Dwayne
didn't like.
Gratz,
I was aggressive to the ball, to the whistle, and I brought it every day. I didn't care what period, if we're doing, and people hated that. I said, I'm sorry. This is how I'm going to play. I'm going to be an asshole on the field, and we can talk, we can hang out afterwards. But on the field, I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
So that's why I always got in fights.
That's okay, right? We can say that.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, sorry about that. I was talking about a donkey. It's an animal.
Does that carry into the locker room after, to the dinner, to the?
Most of the time, you leave it on the field, which is very. You'll come, you'll dap each other up. You know, it's a handshake, Brandon. I know what I mean. Dapping up means
I got
handshake.
that.
There you go.
Yeah,
you just need to let him know.
Yeah, Casey knows that.
I
He
got
knows
you.
that
I'm
sling
with you.
term. But you come give a handshake, be like, hey man, you know, it's all business. You know, we're just on the field. You know, we're being aggressive, and
So
you
usually
leave
it ends
there.
that way.
Usually it ends there. But there was a couple guys that that we just didn't like each other, and like we knew it. Sergio, what was Sergio's last name?
He did the 3 claps in the Ric Flair.
Yeah.
You would end up playing at Indianapolis, or he came over from Indianapolis.
I forget his
my
last
gosh, we'll
name.
find it.
But
We'll find
Sergio, me and him would we just didn't like each other. But yeah, I'll see you in practice today, bro.
Really?
Yeah, we'll see.
Sergio Brown?
Sergio Brown.
There you go.
Good call.
That should have been easy for me.
Nice, Casey.
All right. So I also have this question about football sometimes. From an offensive perspective, I think these guys complicate it. I think, like, offensive coaches think they're, like, trying to solve, like, world peace.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Reinventing the wheel.
And nothing says it more than a call in the huddle. Does the call in the huddle have to be as long as it? It's not like it's coming over the public address system. Nobody else hears it except the other 10 guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's so long. Give us like a typical, like, play.
Yeah. So say just a typical everyday play, you'd be like green right, 373, Y stick, X go, Z Dover on 3. And then sometimes you even have an alert for an audible, like alert 34, Bob, wham, or something like that. On 3, ready, break. You know, and talking about that, you know, like that's how some guys would call the play. They'd call it just the same tempo. Like Blake Bortles, my guy Blake, when I played with Henny, Gabbert, Henny, and Bortles. Oof. And then and then I went to New England, signed with New England. I played with first guy I started taking calls from was Tom Brady. And there was a big difference in the way he called the play. So Tom, he literally sounded like he was an auctioneer because he wanted to call the play so quickly and get to the line of scrimmage so he could do his motions and see his defense and see where he's going to go with the ball. So Tom's like, you know, like, do we have 100, 200, 200, 300, 300, we got 3, we got 4, we got 5, we got 6. Tom would come in the huddle, Green 373 Y6 Slant X going 1. Let's go. Ready, break. I go, Tom, how do you expect me to hear that? Literally, that is not an exaggeration. And I go to the side, I go, Coach, is that seriously how he calls plays? Like, yeah, you gotta get with that, and you gotta just pick your piece out. I'm like, dude, that's crazy, because half the time, like, Tom, I don't know the play, and I just have to speak up and say it, like, don't know the play. And he'd get frustrated, be like, all right, we got this, but you had to tell him, because you can't go to the line and just
not know the play.
Not know the play. Like, what are you
Just
gonna do?
run a route for fun.
Yeah, just run, look around.
I'm open, Tom.
I
Right
don't
here.
know. Yeah,
It's fascinating, though, because, like, you think about this, and I'll tell you, in layman's terms, everybody out there listening, this makes a lot of sense, because let's just take ex-quarterback here in Jacksonville, any of the three that you named. They're getting the play in. They're breaking. There's no hustle to the line of scrimmage. It's very methodical.
Yeah.
The playbook probably is not as expansive to begin with, and they get to the line with about 12 seconds to go. They look at the defense. They call out the Mike linebacker. Eventually you snap it with 3-2 to go on the clock.
Yeah.
You look at Brady. He's off to the line, and I'm sure Aaron Rodgers sometimes doesn't even huddle.
Yeah.
And so you go to the line of scrimmage, and these older quarterbacks, now they want to set all these things. You kind of mentioned it yesterday on the show. I don't want to assume everybody was listening, although you should have been yesterday.
Yeah.
You can check stuff off and eliminate plays and zone versus man. And now all of a sudden, by the time he snaps it, the book on Brady, and this is why he's so good, and Manning and others, is they know where they're going with the ball.
Yes.
It's either A or B instead of A, B, C, D, or E. They
code.
now have 2 spots to go. So that makes sense that he wants to get the play in. Let's get to the line of scrimmage as quick as so I can assess the situation.
Multiple choice test. There's, Trevor Lawrence and Tom Brady are both taking multiple choice tests. Trevor Lawrence has five options. Tom Brady has 2. He knows one of those are the right answer. So he's got to make a decision, but that decision is a lot easier. He doesn't have to look at, once you're doing the pre-snap reads, you have a tight end over here, you move your running back from out wide. You watch Tom Brady, I promise you watch him every play, there will be a motion or a shift. He does not want to play without a motion or a shift, so he can see who follows the motion guy. If it's a running back, who's following the guy. If it's a tight end shifting from side to side, what are the linebackers doing? Okay, he's checking things off. I know it's going to be man. I know it's going to be zone. Now I'll have to figure out is what man and what zone. Who are they doubling? What are they blitzing? He just cuts the decisions in half, and that just slows the game down so much. And it's a cheat code. You're picking through a multiple choice of 2 questions versus most guys, your choice is 5.
Yeah. Real quick follow-up to that. How long until you figure you can get that down to 3 or 2 as a young quarterback? Will that take 5 years? Does that take 3 years?
Well, if you keep switching offensive coordinators, it's going to take longer.
Yeah.
But I mean, you do pick up things, and it'll be quicker. But the longer you're in a certain scheme, you can start focusing on different things and using the motions to your advantage. And I think with a quarterback like Doug Peterson, he can explain and teach and speed that process up. So that's one of the reasons I'm also so excited about Doug being with Trevor. But you can see it. You can see it happen with Trevor from last year to this year already. Talking about Justin Fields earlier in this game, he had a big throw to Tajay Sharp at the beginning of the game against the Chiefs in the preseason, to where he brought in the tight end to pick up a blitz. You didn't see that last year. Tight end picked up a blitz. He had to throw hot. Tajay Sharp on the sideline, tiptoe, caught a 20-yard pass in bounds. That was impressive to see. To me, that was more impressive of him bringing the tight end in to pick up the blitz and the actual throw. Both of them were great plays, but I'm like, hey, he's starting to get it. Now he's going to start using motions and and doing things like that. And you can see these young guys progressing and they're going to turn into the veterans pretty soon and be the guys that know how to do all of it.
Yeah, it's pretty football 101 right here. And one of the stops on Clay Harbor's career, the Detroit Lions. And when he stopped there, Jim Bob Cooter was there, and also Marvin Jones was there. Jaguars wide receiver going on year 2. And today, Clay Harbor had a chance to catch up with his former teammate.
All right, so Marvin, obviously we played together in Detroit. You've always been a hardworking guy. You're a guy that has almost 600 catches, 7,000 yards, 55 touchdowns. I still see you on the field, last guy to leave catching balls. What keeps you working like that with a guy that's had so many statistics?
I think it's just the love for the game, just the love to get better. You know what I'm saying? I've been in it for a while, obviously, and I always think, you could always get better.
Yeah.
And I love seeing going through that progress. and seeing how in the end how that process turns out. So it's still fun. I have my days, but once I step on them lines, I get hyped, and I just want to be the best and put on the show. So I think that's what keeps driving me for sure.
So you're 32 years old. You've played 11, going on 12 years in this league. How's it? Do you feel like a grandpa? Do you feel like you're kind of looked up to in this locker room with all these young receivers? Is it feeling different from when you were younger to now being a veteran? Do you feel like more of a teacher than a learner?
Yeah, I think so. But I learned stuff from them, just especially music. I learned a lot from my kids for like the new music that's coming out and stuff like that. But if you want some new hip hop and stuff like that, all you have to do is get in the locker room. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, who's this? Hey, young fella, who's this? Nah, I'm playing. But I definitely love teaching the game, and the thing is, I love it just because I could show them. Yeah. I could still show them at a high level. So I think that's what brings me joy. And I love being with them. So it's all good. And shoot, I'm just gonna keep rolling because I feel amazing.
Yeah. So this year, Doug Peterson comes in, and then you obviously know a guy. Jim Bob Cooter was an offensive coordinator for you in Detroit when you had some big years. How does it feel to have Jim Bob Cooter in this offensive room? A guy that you've had so much success in the past. Is it just really good to see a familiar face?
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's amazing because even when we're in the meeting room, especially when he's up there, he's talking, and a lot of examples that he has is from our old days of me doing something that he's trying to explain. So him explaining something and see, oh yeah, here's Marv way back when doing this same thing and executing this at a high level. Then after that people then I have questions. They come to me with questions. Hey, when you did that, how'd you do this? So it's good having them there, most definitely. And just because we have a lot of experience together, him as the OC in them years in Detroit. So it's definitely great.
That's awesome. So you talked about learning some music from some of these young guys. What is the top song or top artist that you may have learned from some of these young receivers?
I don't know the artist, but I definitely can't say the I definitely can't say the lyrics or the title to the song. But all of them are playing the new NBA YoungBoy album. Yeah. I think that's the consistency there. So I'm learning a lot. So when I go home and see the kids, I know they're gonna be on that album. So I'm gonna show them a little something.
Yeah. Last question I got for you, Marvin. I don't know if you remember this, but we would play poker on our trips in Detroit. And I remember I won probably 3 out of the 6 games. Do you happen to remember those poker games that I'd come away with the victories?
I actually do remember. I'm me. I'm more of a craps guy. But yeah, you were pretty good. You were pretty good, and you left a lot of people with empty pockets. So you know what I'm saying. So kudos to you.
That is Marvin Jones and Clay Harbor, by the way. I'll clap that up, Casey Kurtz.
There we go.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Like, people don't understand this. If this was like a Dream Job contestant, remember that show on ESPN?
Sure.
You don't remember Dream Job?
When was it on, Brent?
Never heard of that, Brent.
I don't know, 8-10 years ago or something.
Is that like in the 80s or something, Brent?
No,
yeah,
that far
exactly.
ago. Like you were trying out to be on SportsCenter. You guys don't remember that?
No, Brent.
I never tried it, but you
8 to 10 years ago, I was 14.
Yeah, you're right. You were 14.
I think I do remember it now. All jokes aside, I think I do remember that. Like, there was like people trying to be like on ESPN and
being the next Chris Berman or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And people got hired. They ended up working at ESPN News, and then you would see if you could like kind of climb up.
Yeah.
But they did this. It wasn't like a reality show, I don't think, but it was this whole
a competition
deal.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that was kind of what I did today to Clay. I mean, I put him on the spot.
Yeah.
I didn't give him any prep time. I just yanked him over. I was like, hey, if we're getting Marvin Jones, I think this would be more fun if you do the interview than I do the interview with Jones. And there it was. He
Literally
did a great
15
job.
seconds, man. 15 seconds. Hands me the mic. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? And you're like, yo, when you talk, you hold it to your mouth. When he talks, you hold it to his mouth. I go, okay, let's go. Let's do this. And it was a lot of fun. Obviously, I know Marv. We used to play poker. We had the same barber. We'd go to the barber shop together. And, obviously we're out there together on Sundays. So good dude. I always loved hanging with him.
You just brought up a good point, too. He looked this up in commercial break. 3 more touchdowns this season for Marvin Jones. He'll be top 50 all time.
All time.
All time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I think his touchdown, I did this when they signed Marvin. His touchdown to catch ratio is really good.
Yeah.
Really strong. And so that speaks to it. I mean, top 50 all time in touchdowns, man. That's pretty impressive stuff.
Deshaun Jackson's at 58 and Marvin's at 55. So if I don't know if Deshaun's going to play this year, but 3 more touchdowns, he'll be top 50. And he's not far off at yards and receptions, too, to be a top 50. By the time it's said and done, Marvin Jones will probably be a top 50 receptions, yards, and touchdown catching receiver. So people got to realize that they're seeing a guy that's obviously is not one of the huge name guys, but this is a guy that's been consistently getting it done for 11 years, putting up good numbers. And that's hard to see. That's not common.
Under the radar guy, under the radar career.
Yeah.
And just been consistent, like you said. I mean, most of the time has stayed healthy. He's still doing it at 32 years old. This is season 11, I think. And so all those things, I mean, it's really impressive. And
this
good
isn't
dude,
it.
too. Fun guy. Like, energy guy. And still, I mean, he's coming off, 73 catches last year.
Yeah, like even if it's in Jacksonville or somewhere else, like Marvin's going to have a job if he wants to play next year.
If he wants to play, yeah, no doubt.
So, like, this, it's not like he's going to get 3 touchdowns. Fingers crossed, please. But,
like, he gets 8.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. But to that point, like, he could keep going on the list.
Yeah.
And like I said, as long as he wants to play, he's going to have a job. Maybe it will be here.
It might be. I also think it speaks well. We talk about this in Jacksonville a lot, that guys go under the radar. But that's a Detroit situation of a guy who's under the radar. Like, people know everybody now because of fantasy football.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
But listen, when they signed Marvin Jones, do my grocery store test and ask them, like, go line up 10 people at Publix.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, Marvin Jones, does he have this set of numbers, this set of numbers, or this set of numbers? And there's no way they would guess the numbers.
Yeah. No chance.
You know what I mean? They just wouldn't. And it just goes to show you that when you lose, you're not top of mind making headlines.
Yeah.
And I really feel for guys like Marvin. At least you got to experience the New England thing a little bit, and you won in Philly early on.
Early.
That guys that don't get a chance to win it at all. I mean, Marvin's seen some bad stuff now.
We actually made the playoffs one year
With Detroit.
in
You did.
Detroit.
You're right. You saw that.
And he had a big year. He started off the year. He was one of the league leaders in receiving, but then he kind of tapered off at the end. But I mean, we had a solid year. We lost in the first round with Stafford and Marv, and Jim Bob Cooter was our offensive coordinator, so I knew all those guys. And but he hasn't had that success. Hopefully this year, we can build off of that and get something going here in Duval.
Yeah, and I think even being a part of the turnaround, like you did feel it that one year in Detroit, it means something. You can see it pop a little bit when you've been through the bad times. You sense that. Like, it's fun. And so we'll see what happens with Marvin Jones in 2022. All right, man, thanks for hanging for another segment, another day.
That was fun.
Back to
Appreciate it.
Chicago?
Yeah, back to Chicago. Go back. I'm gonna check out some Bears camp next week. I think they're out at Hollis Hall, and just
you bullish on the Eagles now? You like Jalen Hurts?
Yeah,
I'm very bullish on the Eagles. I am very bullish on the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is gonna have a heck of a year. That whole team, that roster, in my opinion, is one of the best in the league. Seeing all those guys, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, underrated slot receiver. Dallas Goedert's the real deal. Miles Sanders is good. This offensive line is the best offensive line in football. Lane Johnson looks like a professional wrestler, some dude you'd see out there with The Undertaker or something. This guy's massive. Jason Kelsey's still getting it done. They drafted a great Cam Jurgens, a great center. Jordan Maya, I don't even know how to say his last name. I'm sorry, Jordan. But this team is not only an offensive team, it's a defensive team. They got Kaiser White. They just signed Hassan Reddick. Jordan Davis. This guy's massive.
No, he's going to be good.
He looks like the dude from the Green Mile. I mean, he is just massive, man. You see, looking up to him on the field. TJ Edwards is playing out of his mind. Undrafted rookie linebacker. Where did he come from? Kaiser White. You got Darius Slay and James Bradbury on the offensive on the cornerbacks. I mean, this team is stacked this year. It's an exciting time for Eagles, and I will predict the Eagles will win the NFC East. They'll beat the Cowboys, and they will win at least one playoff game.
Brent?
Yeah, I'm not as crazy about Jalen Hurts.
See, now he's gonna come off of it a little bit because you're here, Clay. But before you were here, he's like, I don't believe in the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, we'll see.
Like, I was wishing right now, though, really what's going through my mind is I wish Aaron was here because he has predicted the Eagles to beat Dallas, and I just think Dallas is better than the Eagles.
I don't think so, Brent.
I think their offensive line really is good. I think they overachieved a bit last year. You just made a good, compelling case, though, and you've seen it closer than me.
A.J.
So,
Brown?
I know. A.J. Brown's. Again, even when A.J. Brown was in Casey, you vouch for me. Like, I wasn't, like, over the moon A.J. Brown like everybody else was.
That is true.
But even when he was with Tennessee. But I'm not saying
he's disrespected
bad, right?
him a lot for no reason.
You got to say they're better than they were last year.
They are. Yeah, it's a good
And they
call.
made the playoffs last year.
But I'm just not, like, high on. I don't know about Hurts. I'm not all in on Hurts.
I wasn't either until I saw this guy play and practice this year. Watched him last year. I mean, you look at my tweets last year. I say, hey, I don't think this guy's. I said, put Gardner Minshew in the game.
Yeah.
You know? And I go to this camp and I watch Jalen Hurts play, and I was very, very impressed. Not only he got this aura about him where he's just working hard, but, I mean, he is just getting the ball out. He's getting it to different receivers. Miles Sanders. Under the radar guy.
Really good player.
Under the radar guy.
All right.
All set.
There you go. There's your Eagles. Eagles, Bears, Jags. You got them covered. You got 3 out of the 32 covered, man.
Got them pegged.
Covered well. Yeah.
Safe travels. Clay
Appreciate it,
Harbor,
guys.
you were awesome last couple of days, man. Good catching up with you. I know a lot of Jags fans or Jags folks were happy to see you out at camp. And Jags fans, you can listen to Clay Harbor on ESPN 690 starting September 7th, every Wednesday during the fall, 4 p.m. until 5 p.m. He won't be joining us in studio. He's not flying us down.
Yeah.
But we'll get him on the show for an hour. It's like your hour, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you host the hour, I think.
Maybe we have we give away a rose, like to the best player of the week.
I like
Will they
that
accept
idea.
this rose? What do you think, Casey?
Hey, I'm all in.
Yes, you are. A Bachelor review and a game recap.
There it is.
Coming up on Wednesdays
There
on
it is.
ESPN 690. All right, man. Safe travels. Good to see you.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Heavy storms into this evening, then partly cloudy skies later tonight, dropping to near 70 degrees. Partly sunny for your Friday, and once again in the afternoon, some scattered heavy showers and thunderstorms with highs near 90. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years zero-interest financing with nothing down.
This year, CGC Water Treatment is celebrating 75 years in business. Happy anniversary to them. Put their experience to work for you. Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. I've had mine for a handful of years now. Absolutely love it at the house. Connecticut's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Call today and save hundreds, even thousands on a complete home solution for city and well water. Financing available with approved credit. And because the professionals at CGC Water are committed to being your go-to water experts, you can trust their master plumber with all your plumbing needs as well. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Right now, you can take advantage of the $75 drain cleaning special. Call for details. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Something big is in the cards. Best Bet is coming soon to St. Augustine. This summer, experience the best in world-class poker, simulcast wagering, and fun card games for all levels at our new location in St. Augustine. This new Best Bet location will also feature a state-of-the-art sports bar with large flat-screen TVs, delicious wings, and a full-service bar. Located on 800 Marketplace Drive, right off exit 311. For opening updates about Best Bet St. Augustine, go to bestbetjax.com.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, they take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
If you are involved in a legal dispute and are not sure of your options, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Don't miss the Gun Show this weekend at the Ramona Pavilion featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more. There'll be concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Ramona Pavilion on Ramona Boulevard, Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the Gun Show.
Find your next great hire with Indeed. Their hiring solution helps attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Sponsor a job and get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching. But a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wrangler is made for those moments when your heart says go and you follow it beyond what's expected. Because when the heart calls, you gotta be ready in jeans that are made to move and built to last. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Bundling car and renter's insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? Look for the signs. Chances are they live in a home and have a car. They use money and enjoy having more of it. They probably drink lots of lemonade. Lemonade. And they've probably said something suspicious like, "I'm bundling with Geico," or "Stop spying on me with those binoculars." If so, you may want to ask them how easy it was to bundle with Geico. Bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
Nerds! Here at NerdWallet, we often see people wrestle with financial decisions.
Mike is in the ring, up against his nemesis, indecision. Mike can't decide the best way to save his money, and indecision has him boxed in. But wait, Mike tagged in NerdWallet!
Whew, let's go. With NerdWallet's side-by-side comparisons, you can count with interest rates that earn more bang for your buck. So the next time you wrestle with a financial decision, out on top. NerdWallet, the smartest decision for all your financial decisions.
Did you get the Clement Horizon clean last night? I don't want another barnacle incident. Where's Ivan?
Kiki's head of docking operations just jumped ship.
What do you mean he's sailing around the world?
She needs a new marina manager to help keep her head above water.
Yeah, the tide's perfect, but we are slammed.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Touch a Truck is back. Join us August 27th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. with fire trucks, food trucks, police cars, and more. All at Brooks Family YMCA off Centurion Parkway. For more info, visit ESPN690.com and follow us on Facebook at Touch a Truck Jacks.
I'm moving on with my career, with my life, and I'm continuing to stand on my innocence. Just because, settlements and things like that happen doesn't mean that a person is guilty for anything. I feel like a person has the opportunity to stand on his innocence and prove that, and we proved that on the legal side, and we're just going to continue to push forward as an individual and as a person.
That was Deshaun Watson a little bit earlier today, talking after practice, after the suspension was handed down. The settlement agreed upon between Deshaun Watson, the Players Association, and the NFL, and that's 11 games. Count them up. Need 3 hands to get to 11 if you count on your fingers, like I still do. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Casey Kurtz, Brent Martineau. Clay Harbor was just with us for the last hour and a half or so. He's going to be with us on Wednesdays, as you now know. Excited for that. Really good insight the last couple of days from Clay. Brent's trying to walk him out of the building right now and then trying to find his way upstairs, which he still has not done yet. What's interesting about the Deshaun Watson that I haven't really it's kind of interesting now because it's over. And for months, I've been putting in the title of the show, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, anywhere you can currently see me. Hello. Thanks for watching. If you're on the radio, appreciate you listening as well. But every day there's a title of the show. And Deshaun Watson between that and the podcast, by the way, anywhere you get your podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, just go ahead and search that up. I've put the man in the title like 50, 60, 70 times because it's been a story for as long as I've worked here. For a year plus, this saga has been going on. And it's finally over. It's refreshing. I can't imagine if you're in Houston and we're covering this like for 3 hours every day. We've done it for like, an hour every day at most. Some of these people in Houston and in Cleveland and probably in Clemson as well, they're touching on it, obviously, because, he's one of theirs. They've been covering it for hours and hours every day. So I'm glad that it's over from this perspective, that we don't really have to talk about Deshaun Watson until it's time for him to play. Or if you're going to draft him in fantasy, which we were just talking about with Clay Harbor, trying to get him in the fantasy league. Because we had Austin Lane last year, former NFL player, thought he knew something, and I schooled him in fantasy. So I didn't talk too much smack to Clay Harbor about that, but, I'm out here taking everybody in fantasy. So it is what it is. Switching from football to golf and Live Golf and the PGA Tour. Still a topic. PGA Tour right now playing the BMW Championship, which is your second playoff event. Top 70 will turn into the top 30 and go to the Tour Championship. And then after the Tour Championship, we will see what happens with what some have called what will be a mass exodus from the PGA Tour to Live Golf. Cameron Smith potentially in on that. Adam Scott could potentially be in on that. Mark Leishman is another guy we've heard rumored. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out once the PGA Tour season wraps up in a couple of weeks. Another guy could be in on that, Matt Fitzpatrick. I'm looking at him right now on the Golf Channel watching the BMW Championship. Who will go to Live Golf after the PGA Tour kind of wraps up his season? And we will find that out in the next couple weeks. But did you see the headline from Patrick Reed, a guy, Masters winner, won multiple times on the PGA Tour, not won the FedEx, but won a FedEx Cup playoff event before, has decided since going to Live Golf, he was going to sue some of the former employers that he had with the PGA Tour and the PGA Tour media and how he was covered. Brent Martineau, you were interested in this.
Yeah, I was. I actually wanted to bring this up yesterday. Poor Clay Harbor, by the way. Every time he
just
comes
started
in
raining
or
again.
out,
Yeah,
we need like a tunnel to his car.
Here's what I respect about Clay when he walked in, by the way. It was pouring. It was like raining as hard as it has all day. He just walked.
Oh, yeah. Well,
like
he
walked
said,
through the puddle. Like Abby was running, and he's just walking, and he's like talking to me while he's walking. He's like, oh, got it right. I'm like, yeah, Clay.
I actually texted him like as he was coming up like, during the show and that before the 4 o'clock hour. And I'm like, hey, man, just wait until it stops raining a little bit. He's like, it's just water.
That's what he said to me, too.
So
he said it's better that it's not cold. I said,
there we go.
That's reasonable.
So thanks to Clay Harbor for coming in. Okay, I did want to talk about this a little bit. Patrick Reed, this is some insane lawsuit, by the way, in terms of dollars, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it something crazy? But
$300
Chambly,
million, I think.
So two guys, like I'm not sure everybody knows Brando Chambly. More people know Patrick Reed. But Chambly can be very critical of people on the Golf Channel. Like, I think he's really good. But I think there's also a lot of people that don't like him. So I was like, hey, these are two people that a lot of people don't like, which I then thought, I bet Casey loves them both.
I do. Yeah.
Like, that's actually the thought that went through my mind.
Yeah, the villain's got to have some love, Not all of them, but yeah, I don't despise either of them. I'll give it to you there.
But here's the deal. What's interesting about this is Patrick Reed will never win this against Brando Chambly.
No, come
like,
on.
this is stupid. What,
It's an interesting
like a sticks
play.
and stones type of thing. Like, right? I mean, it's like, what are you doing? It would open up like this slippery slope. Does that mean we can never say anything bad about anybody?
Right. Yeah. No, it's an odd play from Patrick Reed. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be like a legal expert. Like, Patrick Reed, there's not many people that talk about golf in front of a microphone that haven't said something bad about Patrick Reed. I'm one of the few, and I'm going to stay that way because I like Patrick Reed. But, like, Patrick Reed has kind of been the punching bag to some of this, some to his own doing, right?
He's
been caught
brought
cheating.
Plenty of it on by himself, yeah.
So, you pick out one person and sue him for $300 million, I mean, like, it's just not going to work. I don't understand the legal advice that was given there to make it green light that unless there's just something we don't know about.
I don't know. I haven't had dealings with Patrick Reed. Like, if somebody would say something about Greg Norman, I'd be like, I've actually had dealings with him a couple times and not a fan. right? So at least I can speak a bit on at least a couple of instances, even if it's a small sample. Patrick Reed, I haven't. But you hear what everybody says about Patrick Reed, and there's certainly he's a divisive guy, polarizing guy, and he's had his great moments, and then he's had other moments, and it's just a weird story anyway. Like, he's in Augusta, and his parents live like 2 miles from the course, and they can't even go on property and watch him play. Like, the whole thing's odd, right?
It is.
But I would say in this Brando Chambly instance, from sometimes what you've heard over the years, my perception is the players might back Chambly more than they'd back Patrick Reed.
Probably. Yeah,
there's a lot of players that just don't love the guy.
They don't love the guy, and then add live golf, and it's like game, set, match. He's not even one of ours anymore. We don't have to protect him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you had to somewhat, you needed them on your team, right?
Yeah.
Because of the Ryder Cup and other things. Well, now you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and he was great in the Ryder Cup. So that's a guy
was really good.
Like, you're not going to set him out on the island to kind of suffer. But now it's like, he's not even one of us. I will say, the funniest thing I've always said about Patrick Reed, and if there's any autograph people listening, they know. If Martin Buckley's listening, he knows. Patrick Reed is one of the very few guys on the PGA Tour that was on the PGA Tour, that won the Masters, and you roll up with 10 Masters flags from his year, he's hitting them all.
He will.
He is. It's the oddest thing that
you would never predict that.
You would not. People don't like you said. Like, fans don't really like him. His coworkers don't really like him. Like, that's well documented.
But autograph guys love him.
He's nice as can be. He'll sign everything you have. He's nice about it. There's no like backhanded comment off the other side. It's like you just tell him up front, Patrick, I got 10. He's like, all right. Boom, boom, boom. It's no problem.
Who else is like that you would never think is good but is good? Because seriously, he would be near the top of the list.
Yeah.
Who you would think would be like an all-time you-know-what. Mm-hmm. And you're telling us he's not. So
he's not. He's really not. It's
anybody else? Like, is there anybody that fits that category? Like, you think of, let's just roll a name out there. That some of them would be too big.
Like just for reference, Greg Norman is not that. Like, what you think about Greg Norman is what I can confirm to you.
Oh, you've tried Norman.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's so funny last night. Somebody else.
Yeah.
So, because I wonder, I don't like saying things about people that I don't know too well. And I guess if I knew him too well, I probably wouldn't say it anyway. Like, I wouldn't want to, but I don't know him well enough. Like, I'm never going to really know Greg Norman, and I don't care to. But I have had a couple of instances with him, and I can just tell you, it's like Stanton. My disdain for Stanton is because I've had a couple of experiences with him, not just one.
Yeah.
And like, you can just kind of tell he's that guy.
I can co-sign that one too.
And Norman is like that to me. Well, it was interesting. Last night I was over at UNF for the AD reception with Nick Morrow, and they're unveiling a lot of cool things.
Stomping ground.
Well, there was somebody there that has been around Greg Norman a lot more. And they actually co-signed on it too. And I was like, all right, good. I'm not reading this thing wrong.
The craziest thing with Greg Norman is, I've told you this before, I don't know if you remember this. I used to work at a private airport before when I was in college.
Which is fascinating.
Yeah, so he would fly in a lot and never, ever get off the plane. Like, so we would, fuel, because he doesn't live, this was in Sarasota. He didn't live in Sarasota. But he would come, pick up a business partner of some sort, never get off the plane. We'd fuel it. We'd never see the man. One time, I told the pilot, I was like, I love his clothes, because I used to wear the Greg Norman stuff all the time. Yeah. And he gave me shirts one time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had that good story.
So, like, I do have that, but then, like, I can, go with a couple others. I'm like, yeah.
What's funny is I'm not the guy, like, I just don't think about it in layers like that, right? Like, I can't wear a Greg Norman shirt because I'm not a Greg Norman fan.
His clothes are fire, I'm not going to lie.
There's been, like, I've had the Greg Norman stuff in the past, and I just, whatever. If I like it, I like it,
Amen.
But I will say recently I saw something, and I think it was around the Dream 18 tournament, that I wanted to, like, say, I kind of like this style of, like, a hoodie or something like that might be good. And what we do with our Dream 18 is Baker's opens up a store for us, and you can buy some, or not buy, but your tea gift comes out of that store. And so I wanted some different options. And I looked at it, and it was like Greg Norman, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I ain't doing that. Nope. That shirt's not that nice. Like, I finally did. Like, first time in my life I can really remember doing that.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I'm not buying that, or I'm not putting that on my list, or we're not doing that for you, Norman. By the way, tell us a little bit. I guess it's a shameless plug time for the Dream 18. ActionSportsJacksDream18.com just had another register for the tournament. So it's going to fill up now. We got a month, September 19th at the golf club at Southampton.
Watch out for the
presented
yellow
by
flag,
Cadillac. And the course is going to be ready to go. We're going to be ready to go, but you got to be a part of it. You better sign up, ActionSportsJackStream18.com to register for a foursome. Very reasonable. We'll have a great time. We got a bunch of food places out there, a bunch of sports teams out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Always is. So ActionSportsJackStream18.com. But before we go to break, fueling a plane, like you actually fueled a plane. Like what was that process?
Yes, I fueled many a plane.
Well, it's like holding a hose or what?
Well, it depends. You know, Greg Norman is not broke, so he has one of the bigger jets. So there's two different types of. There's jet fuel. There's avgas, right? So avgas is.
No, don't say right. Like I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, just trust me. Trust me here. That would be for like the planes you see, like the prop planes. Still,
okay.
You know,
okay.
Most people
I'm
that
with
like,
you.
yeah, that would be an avgas, which by the way is way more. Deadly is not the right word, but like you don't want it on you. It's avgas versus jet fuel. That's usually not something people believe.
So you'd rather have jet fuel on you?
Yeah. Again, you know, I'm we don't have time for this, but I've had jet fuel all over me and had to take the emergency shower.
Really?
Okay, it's still not a 10 out of 10 experience.
Wow.
So either way, you don't want it. But in a Greg Norman situation, you just hook up.
That's it.
Yeah, and then you just turn it on. And then you gotta, like, the pilot will be like, that's the scary part, because the pilot's like, hey, we need this much because they did the math. If they did the math wrong and I overfuel it, there's no other way to put it. Everybody's dead on the plane.
Really?
Yes, it's a dangerous game like that. So, like, you trust what the pilot says, you double check, and you get it in writing. So if, like, you know, something happened, and you have it in writing, and then you picture of the little gauge to prove you did it right. Like, those are the things you do in case there is some
Something
horrible
goes
things
wrong.
that happens. But
Wow.
yeah, so that's the big jets. The other ones,
So the big jet's really low-key maintenance. Like, it's not like a physical labor thing.
well, the hose is pretty hefty.
Is it? Yeah.
You get to drive the trucks.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I was driving them trucks in between the planes. That is sketch. Trucks full of gas,
Yeah,
in between
I
planes.
don't want to drive a truck full of gas.
You don't want that. But then the other ones, like, usually you just over the wing and you put it in, you
Seen
shoot it.
way too many movies.
Yeah. But
Over the wing and you shoot it in there?
yeah. The best way, like, if it's not a huge jet where you would, like, hook up, just think of it as a giant gas pump. Like, it's literally the same thing. You just stick it in the little thing. And now, that one's tougher because you can't.
Very good sound effect.
Yeah, thank you. With those, they usually don't tell you the weight. They're like, hey, just fill it up till it starts coming out. Now, that's sketch because you don't want it on you.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
So you're, like, in there looking at it,
Yeah.
and at any moment, boom, it's coming.
It doesn't
and then
just,
you're-
like, clip off like the one that
Oh,
the
no.
pump does.
It's manual. It's manual the whole thing.
Oh, man. Wow, that's wild. What you learn on a Thursday in Jacksonville. Casey Kurtz fueling planes. We got to go to break. ESPN 600 will be back probably for like a minute or two before Action Sports Jack's OT. That's coming up with Casey Kurtz and Brian Middleton. Maybe they'll talk more jet fuel.
We might.
Avgas.
I'll tell you about the
even heard
emergency
about it
shower.
till today.
I was butt
Emergency
naked
shower.
on the ramp
Not
trying
in
to
the dark.
Yeah. In the broad daylight, Brent. It was terrifying.
We'll be back on ESPN 690. I was talking with a neighbor of mine just last week, and they were telling me about some recent shoulder pain. I said, hey, have you ever heard of QC Kinetics? One of the best things that's happened here over the past year is the arrival of QC Kinetics. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. QC Kinetics is giving relief every day to folks here, like my neighbor, with chronic joint pain. Using the latest advances in regenerative medicine, they harness the power of your own body's healing properties, like in your blood or plasma, concentrate them and apply them to your affected joint, and the results can be mind-blowing. These regenerative treatments are designed to repair and restore your damaged joint tissue so you can move again without the pain. You can play golf, tennis, run, walk upstairs without hurting, and the success rate is incredible. QC Kinetics is growing, now with clinics in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Folks here are getting real relief with no drugs, no steroids, no surgery, and you can get a free consultation by calling 904-274-5522, 904-274-5522. Now in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Just call 904-274-5522.
Don't miss the gun show this weekend at the Ramona Pavilion featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more. There'll be concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Ramona Pavilion on Ramona Boulevard, Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the gun show.
A new era is here for Jaguars football. New championship-winning coach, new superstars, and new optimism. One consistent this fall is Tailgaters Parking will still be delivering the very best tailgating experience at the bank all season. Tailgaters Parking doesn't just talk a big game. They're right across the street from TIAA Bank Field. Offer clean, permanent restrooms, food options, a full liquor bar, and all parking spots are on a well-kept grass lot. Check out Tailgaters Parking at tailgatersparking.com to reserve your spot today.
Hey, I'm Carey.
And I'm Bruce. We're the owners of Koala Insulation. That summer heat's right around the corner, and so are those high energy bills. Don't just sweat it out, do something about it. Call Koala Insulation today for your free evaluation. We don't quote over the phone or just poke our heads up in your attic. We do a full evaluation to include attic ventilation needs as well as insulation.
Give us a call at 904-679-6282 or online at koalainsulation.com.
If you've been thinking about a new Toyota, then stop thinking and start buying during the national sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota. And check this out. Arlington's got 500 new Toyotas available, and that makes now the perfect time to slip into a new ride. Plus, you get 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it, and a lifetime warranty with your new Toyota purchase. So stop thinking and start buying. Even better, start your engine. It's the national sales event at Arlington Toyota. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Sometimes the mortgage process can be a tricky one, a dead end for some. Not with Carrington Mortgage Services. They have a team that will find a solution for you. That's what they do. That's what they are experts in, finding loan solutions for unconventional borrowers. If you're self-employed or a freelancer, if you have low credit scores, if you're an investor looking to use cash flow to qualify, Carrington Mortgage Services will find a loan for you. CarringtonMortgage.com. Carrington Mortgage Services, LLC, NMLS ID number 2600, Equal Housing Lender.
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching, but a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with the ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
I'm concerned because if you looked at his rookie season, he was one of the most contacted quarterbacks in the National Football League. So the Bears are going to have to figure out how to keep him clean. But moving forward, I'm curious to know how much runway General Manager Ryan Poles is going to give Justin Fields, because if it is going to be a struggle in terms of overall wins for this team this season, if they stay with Justin Fields in 2023, you're talking about this team having a high draft pick without needing a quarterback and also having over $100 million in cap space. They can overnight transform the supporting cast for Justin Fields. It's just going to be a rocky start this year, and that's why it'll be up to offensive coordinator Luke Getsy to make sure that he does his best to develop Justin Fields, despite the team not overall having a lot of success around him.
Damian Woody?
Chris Canty.
That was Canty?
Yeah, you know,
I mixed them up the last 2 days.
Yeah, it's okay. I didn't love that one, to be honest.
Did a lot of Chicago talk today.
You know, I thought it felt right.
Chicago.
It felt right. We had Clay on, you know.
You know what's nice is, like, I'm bigger in the box now.
You are bigger, yeah.
No bar grass needed.
No, Amanda literally sent, she was like, boom, boom, boom.
I didn't know what to do. Like, I think that was like an Aaron had to fix that.
Yeah, that was an Aaron
in the triple box.
Yeah, like, could I have done it?
Yeah, you had enough going on.
Did it look funnier that you were tiny? Kind of.
Kind of. Not only that, but, like, we had up-close Clay, so he was like a monster.
Yeah, let me tell you something about Clay. He's yet to wear a full shirt here.
I know. Like, his clothing must be cheap.
I don't blame him. You know. I'm just saying. I don't blame him.
Hey, we're going to get off to Action Sports Jack's OT in a couple of moments. It's Casey Kurtz and Brian Middleton. Back at it tomorrow. We have a short show tomorrow, programming note, because we have a doubleheader with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. But we have interviews with Brandon Sheriff still I want you to hear, and Christian Kirk and some others. So we'll get you set for the game on Saturday night tomorrow for about 90 minutes, and then we hand off to the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, which they'll also play tonight, we think.
Yeah, no word yet. I've been kind of monitoring that, but
it's a mess out there, right? It has been for the last couple of hours.
It really is, but it seems like it only rains when Clay Harbor's outside, so hopefully he's got plans indoors the rest of the night so the Shrimp can play their game.
Yeah, we'll see, and that's one of the reasons Aaron's not here today, because he's it's like Cox Media Group Day at the game. Hopefully they get to see it.
Literally, the only people in the building still are me, you, Brian Middleton, and Chase Bunker doing the news on WOKV. Everybody else is gone.
And we also have high school football starts tonight at Sandalwood.
Yeah.
We think we'll see with the weather, but definitely tomorrow, kickoff classics. And again, we start our Blitz scoreboard show next Friday night. So a lot of fun stuff happening. You see, were you as mad as Ty about the Yankees game last night?
Yeah.
The Yankees really scuffling. That would have been a big win for the Rays, and they blew it. They're up 4-2, and then they score, 3 in the 10th, and then give up the grand slam?
Give up the grand slam, yeah.
Huge win I think that was a huge win for the Yankees.
Huge,
because
absolutely.
It stops the bleeding at least a little bit.
Yeah, that was horrible. You just can't do that. Like, that's the loss that the Rays are going to back broken.
That's a good, yeah. Well, I don't, but any chance, what would they have been back if they'd won that game? 8?
Yeah, I think it's 8.
So you still have a chance. Now you start squeezing the Yankees for a complete meltdown. I think that win did more for the Yankees than the loss hurt the Rays.
I agree, but I think it's equally like the Rays, they got nothing, bro. Like, in that back end of the bullpen, it's like, it's just not good.
Yeah. 1st and 10 training camp tonight, 11:15 on CBS 47, Fox 30. It's our final one. So hope you can join us as camp ended today at Episcopal. Nice job by Episcopal, by the way, for training camp 2022. Action Sports Jack's OT coming up next. Casey Kurtz, Brian Middleton, right here on ESPN 690.
O'Reilly. Stay cool this summer with AC Pro and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro ready-to-use refrigerant products that include a hose and gauge. Beat the heat before you hit the road with AC Pro at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
Auto Parts.
Yo, Pablo Torre here, host of the ESPN Daily Podcast. When you want to go beyond your feed, when you want to get inside the score, when you want to get behind the highlight, there's ESPN Daily. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Mike Holmes, professional contractor and TV host. I love helping people, but when it came to improving the water in my own home, I needed help and turned to the water experts at Connecticut to make it right. My water was causing visible problems throughout my home, and it got me thinking about the problems I couldn't see. Protecting my water-using appliances and pipes, preventing stains and hardness buildup, and having clean, great-tasting drinking water are all important to me. But choosing the right water treatment equipment can be tricky. That's where Connecticut comes in. A Connecticut water expert will test your water for free and recommend the system that fits your needs and budget. Improve the quality of your water and your life with the Connecticut Water Treatment System. I'm so glad I did.
This year, CGC Water Treatment is celebrating 75 years in business. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com for your free assessment. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching. But a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, poker players! The Summer Heater Poker Tournament Series is at Best Bet Jackson from 11th to the 21st, featuring 11 different poker tournaments, including the main event, a no-limit hold'em tournament with a $1,500 buy-in from August 19th to the 21st. If you're looking for an exciting poker tournament this summer, visit us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Florida's largest poker room. View the tournament and satellite schedule at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com. Don't miss it.
Don't miss the gun show this weekend at the Ramona Pavilion, featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more. There'll be concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Ramona Pavilion on Ramona Boulevard, Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the gun show.
Celsius Essential Energy is Jacksonville's official energy drink of summer, and Jacksonville summers are fueled by Celsius. If you see ESPN 690 out and about this summer, come grab an ice-cold Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine Studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
Doug Brown, the NFL and the Players Association reach a settlement on Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson, who gets an 11-game suspension and a $5 million fine. ESPN's Adam Schefter.
I think both sides are giving up something here, which really is the idea of any settlement. I think the NFL would have liked not to have seen Deshaun Watson on the field at all this season. Deshaun Watson, again, last week expressed remorse for the first time and continued to feel like even the 6-game suspension was unfair in his mind.
Adam Schefter, Watson will not play again in the preseason. The first game he'd be eligible to play would be in Week 13 against his old team, the Texans, in Houston. Watson is accused by 30 women of sexual assault and other inappropriate behavior. Baseball today, the Cardinals sweep the Rockies 13-0. Albert Pujols with a pinch hit grand slam, career home run number 690. The Brewers beat the Dodgers in Milwaukee 5-3.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now, a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Here we go on a rainy Thursday in Jacksonville. Action Sports Jacks Overtime, ESPN 690. You know what that means? If it's raining, it means there's probably traffic issues, which means Brian Middleton will likely be late. Well, he is late since the show has started, and there is no sign of Brian Middleton. But there is a sign of Casey Kurtz with you on a Thursday. A lot to do before Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. As far as I know, still on time. We will keep you updated on that, but if it is indeed on time, we're about 48 minutes away from a pregame show with Matt Davis, so we will keep you updated on that as we go along. Deshaun Watson, we'll talk about that a little bit more if you're just jumping in on your way home from work. The suspension is 11 games. We got gambling picks for the weekend. No show tomorrow due to a Jumbo Shrimp doubleheader, so we'll do gambling picks for the weekend on a Thursday coming up at 6:30 involving the Jags. And I think we have a pretty good one involving Kim Kardashian. You'll have to find out and stay tuned for that one coming up at 6:30. Also, I believe Cash or Trash it once Brian Middleton gets here. But the infamous question, where is Brian Middleton? He's keeping you updated on the traffic, and here's what you need to know if you're just jumping in your vehicle on your way home from work.
Heavy and slow goes your drive out to Orange Park from Mandarin West Beltway northbound this evening. An earlier crash at Roosevelt is still blocking off the left lane. Police and road rangers are on scene, and we have multiple tow trucks on scene as well, so hopefully things are starting to clear up. But right now, it's at least 43 minutes to get from the 95 exits out to Blanding. And then leaving downtown I-10 westbound, the drive is much nicer, even though you are tapping the brakes as you exit off of the 95 ramps. Give yourself 7 minutes to get from I-95 out to the Beltway. With Jacksonville's most frequent traffic, I'm Brian Middleton.
There it is. Brian Middleton with Jacksonville's most frequent traffic. He'll be here in just a little bit, but until he is here, I will hold it down with you. Casey Kurtz, Action Sports, Jacks Overtime. It's 11 games for Deshaun Watson if you're just jumping in. If you've been listening all day, we appreciate you, and the Deshaun Watson conversation will stop here shortly. But just to give you an update if you are just jumping in, 11 games, $5 million in fines for Deshaun Watson. That will be 28 total regular season games missed since he last played with the Houston Texans in a bad season, set out an entire season to his own doing, and will now miss 11 games, obviously without pay. The fines, he will also go through a treatment program, whatever that fully means, but the NFL has required that as well in the suspension. And we're done now. That's it. The Deshaun Watson stuff, as we believe, is over. We know the suspension. There's no more appeals. There's no more of this. There's no more of that. That's it. We now know what happens with Deshaun Watson. Is this how the story ends? I think so, unless more stuff continues to come out. But it seems like this is where we are. And the Cleveland Browns will be without Deshaun Watson for 11 games. And on game 12, he'll be out there, as far as we understand it, if he's ready to play. I do have some questions about that in terms of the record of the team, how good the team looks when you then have a guy, as I just told you, who will be 28 games since his last game action. So we'll see how that plays out. Brian Middleton! What up with you, man?
What do you mean, what's up with me? What's up with you, man? How you doing?
I'm good. What do you, Deshaun Watson, 11 games, $5 million. How you feeling?
Tell him to bring me my money. That's what Roger Goodell said.
That's true.
He said, forget these women.
You got that on the
board. Tell him to
fast.
bring me my money.
It's true.
Goodness gracious. If I'm, hey, okay, so Casey, you're going to have to, I know you just shared for 3 hours about this, I'm sure at some point, and then you just recapped very concisely, because you're good at your job.
Thank you.
About what you thought about that, but just kind of let me in just really quick, because I didn't have a chance to listen to anything or read anything
you've
other
been
than
busy.
a glance.
Did I do that? What was that?
I don't know, but hope it wasn't my headphones.
No, that was horrifying. I think, here's the thing. $5 million is a lot of money, and I agree. It's the biggest fine handed out in terms of money to a single player, that like all that. Like he just got $230 guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
You know, so like the five, to me, like I know other people see it a different way, but I don't. I mean, you weren't going to fine him more than $5 million, but I think we're making too big of a deal with $5 million when you have $230 million.
Oh, people are making a big deal like, you stuck
kind
it to
of.
him.
Like
Okay.
that's, I've seen that a couple times. And you know what? Listen, $5 million is $5 million.
It's better than nothing.
If I got $5 million fine, I'd never be able to pay it off.
I wouldn't.
In
I
my
wouldn't
entire
complain.
life.
Yeah. And I
You
would
know?
be like, don't ask me for no money.
Right.
I make less than you.
Amen. So, you know, I'm there with that. The $5 million is what it is. The 11 games.
You don't think it's enough. I'll say it for you. You don't think it's enough.
I don't. But here's the thing. Like, the more that I think about it,
Okay.
right, I'm like, maybe it is. You know, Clay Harbor sat here, former NFL player for the last, he was here from 4 till about 5:30.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, he said it as well. It's just, you know, it feels like he did something wrong, even though in terms of jail time, in terms of
Nothing.
Nada. So as much as I or you or anybody listening feels like he did something wrong, or what it was that he did wrong, which we can all agree there was something there, can you suspend him for the full year without it being there? So then I'm like, maybe that is enough.
Not if he don't want the John Gruden treatment.
It's true.
Listen,
That's true.
I'm with you. I think that you actually, I don't want to say convinced, but I moved even further to oh man, I don't even know if he can play this year when the initial suspension got handed down.
Yeah.
Partly because of what the suspension was, and you know that judge was hand tied and whatnot. But let me just say this right here, and then I'll pose it to a question. I'll throw it right back to you.
All right.
the take that I had wasn't really initially, man, that's a crazy amount of games that, that's not a lot of games for what he's been accused of. It was, if I'm a Cleveland Browns front office executive, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll be taking my apologies in the form of $100 bills and, direct deposits from everybody. That's the only way you can apologize to me. And then when the NFL said, oh, not so fast, my friend, very Lee Corsory, I was like, okay, time to pile back on. But listen, 11 games? If you think Jacoby can get you to 500, if you think that he could mess around and, or maybe a game under 500, I don't know when their bye is, but let's say 5-5. By the time Deshaun gets back, I think the front office, I got to go back to it. I think they made a gamble, and I think that they won.
Yeah,
on the surface, at least. We don't know how he's going to play.
Sure.
Don't play like how you did on TIAA Bank.
And that's actually a big part of it that I brought up earlier. But I did bring up your original point earlier with Brent, and he agreed that, like, as it currently sits, you're going to remember when you brought this up, as it currently sits, the Cleveland Browns front office gambled and won. Because you're going to lose 11 games. You're not even going to lose a whole year, which I think they thought might happen. So, to the point you originally made and the point you're still trying to make, which I don't think is wrong, and Brent didn't think it was wrong either, like the Cleveland Browns, they gambled and won. The only way they can lose going forward is if he's bad.
Yeah.
If he's not good. And that's something we'll have to judge down the line, which brings another point you were just making up. By the way, I think me and Brent, we did this with the schedule. Okay. We think, like, realistically, they're somewhere around 4-7 or 4-6, whatever it was.
Okay.
With the bye.
All right.
In the first couple games. And that's give or take. Like, we gave the Panthers a win on opening day because Baker's revenge.
Uh-huh.
But then, like, we had him beating, like, a Ravens team or a Steelers team. I forget which one. So, like, somewhere in there. But to your point, 5-5, 500, can they be there? It's realistic. But what I wonder is 28 games since he last played. He will have played the 2 drives against Jacksonville and was horrible. Like, are we sure that they're just going to put him in? Like, the money says you have to.
Oh, you got to, yeah.
But, I mean, if you put him in and he's horrible, Brian, like horrible. Like, if he looked like he did against Jacksonville.
Shake it off, sir. We paying you $230 million.
It's
We're paying you $230. You hear me? 30.
I'm with you. My argument was, if I'm Cleveland,
okay,
I'm calling Jimmy G right now. Because 11 games is a lot of games.
Kobe, like, what I got to do around here, man?
You had your chance,
You had your chance, okay.
I'm calling Jimmy G.
Uh-huh.
And this is the pitch. If I'm Cleveland, like, look, you got 11 games. We're going back to Deshaun after that. But you're not going to play football this year if you don't come here. Because Seattle don't want you, apparently. I don't think the Giants want you. And maybe you don't want to go to those places. We got a good roster.
Okay.
You got 11 games. And if Jimmy G plays good for 11 games with the Browns, he getting paid somewhere next year.
Yes.
If the Browns are 7 and whatever that would be, 4 or 3, depending on the bye, I forget exactly where it is, but that's enough to get Jimmy G somebody starting quarterback. Okay. Because now Jimmy G's current situation is Trey Lance is the starter, and he might get cut and not have a job. So I'm pushing to go there, and if I'm Cleveland on a minimum investment, why wouldn't you? Went to a Super Bowl. Won 2 playoff games last year is what I'm trying to say.
Because they're paying like 18 quarterbacks. I mean, already.
They do
what's a 19th, I guess, right? What's a 19th quarterback?
They do. But, like, I don't love their roster like everybody else does.
Yeah, you said that.
But if my option is Seattle, the Giants, or Cleveland, I'm going to Cleveland. You got Nick Chubb. You got Amari Cooper. Seattle got wide receivers, but, like, Seattle's just a dumpster fire. So, like, I wouldn't go there. And I think that, like, that would have been done by now if I'm Jimmy G. So the point I'm trying to make is if I'm Jimmy G, if I'm Cleveland, I'm trying to make that work for the first 11 games. Then Deshaun comes in, and if he is good, to your point, that's going to feel gross, I think. Like, if Deshaun steps in, by the way, I don't know if you've heard this, but if you're Brian or if you're anybody and you haven't heard this, his first game back will be against the Houston Texans in Houston.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes, sir!
So,
yes, sir! Deshaun's revenge!
Yeah. Let me ask you about this part of it. It was like a settlement, right? This was something that was settled between Deshaun and the NFL and the PA and all that.
Okay.
How do you, because it was settled, do you look at it any differently?
Is this so? Well, no. In this sense.
Okay.
Did the NFL again? I apologize because literally it was so crazy over there on traffic today. I really didn't have a chance to really look at my phone and start reading this stuff. What is there an out for the NFL? Because just because they've settled things doesn't mean that the accusers have settled things, right? Am I following this correctly? Deshaun hasn't made right or good or
he has settled with most. There's a different different settlement.
Okay.
But he settled with most of the women. There's a couple that, as far as I know, he had not. And now the suspension was settled. This is not what the person decided. This was the settlement that they agreed upon. So, I don't know if the league was going for 14 and Deshaun was 11, and they came to that conclusion. But that's how they ended up on 11.
Okay.
And the money.
I think that it doesn't change my mind in the sense of what is the other shoe that's going to drop with the next accuser, because we thought for the longest time that it was 24, 25, and then it kept trickling 26. And then one day it was 66. One day it went from 27 to 66. And I was like, now hold on now. Now hold on 1 minute. So that gives me pause. That gives me the sense that, okay, something else is going to happen in 2023. Does the NFL have something in place where they can go back and reverse? Can they add on to the suspension? If they try to add on, does Deshaun have a case to be like, no, we settled this right here, and I need my money now. Now I need my money because y'all playing with my games. I need all my money up front. I need to know all those particulars. So I'm still thinking that there's uncertainty overall, but in the short run, we do have something more definitive because we had the little 5-6 game, suspension, but everybody was up in arms. And I was like, there's no way this can stand. Now that it's been appealed and they have increased not only the number of games, but the actual amount of money that, is going to leave Deshaun's pockets or his bank account, it does feel, at least in a micro sense, that it's settled for the next 6 months. But in a macro view over this season, next season, and the following seasons, who's to say that there's not 3 or 4 or 5 more accusers and someone who has some proof that can actually be like, hey, when we bring this to a grand jury, it's going to be a problem for you, sir. Football's going to be the least of your worries, sir.
Well, I think that's what it would take. I think, and this is just my opinion, but I think that if there's no evidence that can incriminate him criminally, this is it. 11 games. You can come out and accuse him if you so choose. But if you don't have the evidence to incriminate him, he's playing football.
Yeah.
That's what I think how this goes.
Yeah.
If there is evidence and something does come up and he can be incriminated, then all bets are off. Then, to the point you just made, football is the least of the worries in terms of what laws were broken. But I'm telling you, I think if there's just any other, again, next year, I think if it's just another accusation without the evidence needed to incriminate him of a crime,
what can you do?
I think he's playing football.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what this is. This is the suspension for any of that. And if legal takes precedent, then legal takes precedent. But I think this is the end of this part of Deshaun's
I know you're
life.
And I know you're trying to wrap this real quick, but I do want to ask you this, and I want to get you on air with it because I think you got some good insight, or you at least have a provocative take. How much do you think the Houston Texans really knew? How much do you think they really knew? Because I would assume in every one of these professional organizations, you got some guys or somebody in the business, someone in the company, the organization that knows, right? That cleans up stuff. There's all types of stuff that has never hit the public's ears or eyes.
Yeah.
Because people clean it up, they figure it out, they pay people up, whatever you want to call, they take care of it, right? How much do you think the Houston Texans knew?
Well, there was a couple of weeks back on a Friday news dump, they did settle with some of the accusers. I would say some, not all. I think they were I won't say obviously. I think they were privy to at least some. I don't think they knew every exact thing that, we've been finding out, and the amount of people, I don't think they knew it all. but I definitely believe that some people in the organization had to have known something, because this was, on the surface, a guy seeking treatment from playing in the NFL.
Right.
Like, that's what this was. That was the team that he played for, who I would imagine have a pretty good Rolodex of massage therapists or, people that do the acupuncture.
Right.
Yeah.
Again,
I'll go back to Clay. You can find it earlier in the show. He was here from the second hour of the show till just 4 to 5:30. I don't know math. But we were talking to Clay about it, and he's like, you have one person. You got one massage therapist you like, and then you got a second one for a backup.
Right.
Which
makes total sense, especially when you get to that level right there.
Exactly. So I have a hard time believing, and I think most people do as well, that the Houston Texans at some point were like, ain't another one?
How many?
You
still filling it out? Oh, that's a poor choice of words, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do know what you're saying. So, yeah, I think I would say some, not all. There definitely is some guilt with the Houston Texans, I would think. But, again, if they've settled and they traded him, I think the Gruden example's there. I think the Dan Snyder's there. If you pull back the curtain on all of these organizations, you're going to find something.
One more thing, Casey, then I promise you throw to a break.
All right.
So what do you think this says to women fans of the NFL? Women in general, but especially the fans of the NFL.
We tried. That's
fair.
I think the position would be from the NFL, we didn't think 6 was enough, and we fought and got 11. And we got the fine. That's what I think the position is. But in terms of me, I think that the way I look at it is we tried. We did what we could to progress the situation and make it at least as fair as we could. But at the end of the day, we tried. Because, again, I don't think it's enough from that front, to your point. But, I think overall we tried. I don't think they did enough, though. And, again, I stand by this statement. I feel sorry for the female fans of the Cleveland Browns that have been fans for a long time that may feel some type of way about this and have to go out there when he comes back and support him because they're fans of the Cleveland Browns. Or at least not support him, but support the team that he is now leading, right? I feel sorry for those. It's a horrible situation for them. There's no other way to put it. I hope that for at least the female fans of the Cleveland Browns and I guess Deshaun Watson, if those still exist, that you can be okay with it at some point. I'm not saying that's today. I'm not saying that's tomorrow. I'm not really saying that's ever. But just get to the point where you have taken it in, digested it, and I guess moved on with it like Deshaun has. Because as we heard today after practice, Deshaun has moved on. And now he's got 11 games to get himself ready to play when he comes out against the Houston Texans. But that is the situation. 11 games for Deshaun Watson. We believe the end of the saga in terms of the suspension and the accusations. Again, like Brian said, I think, or if there's other accusations, what happens, we'll have to see if that plays out. But for right now, it's 11 games for Deshaun Watson. We continue Action Sports Jax Overtime on ESPN 690 right after this.
Deshaun, J. Will, and Max.
When you look at a schedule, it reveals more than even the schedule what you really think about that team. Bad teams, their schedules always look brutal because they're no good, so you don't think they're going to win many games. Good teams, you look at the schedule, oh, it's not so bad because they're favored in a lot of those games. I guess I would also take the under on the Jets, but just. I think 5.5 games is right. I'll take the under.
Key, J, and Max. Followed by Greeny. Mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Heavy storms into this evening, then partly cloudy skies later tonight, dropping to near 70 degrees. Partly sunny for your Friday, and once again in the afternoon, some scattered heavy showers and thunderstorms with highs near 90. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0-interest financing with nothing down.
This should be 8 by 7.
When it comes to closets, Janina's home organization business runs tip-top tidy.
Is this schedule right? I'm gonna need help.
But she needs to reorganize and find a new assistant.
I know, it's your last week, but can you make sure the Hanson pantry's wrapped?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done. With 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly. When was the last time you changed your spark plugs? Replacing your spark plugs can restore the efficiency and performance of your vehicle. Stop by and get a $12 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase 4 or more select Iridium spark plugs. Get better performance with new spark plugs from your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'ReillyAuto.com.
Auto Parts.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Living in Florida, we don't really worry about the seasons, except for one, hurricane season. And since your home is the most important asset, protecting your home with Rhino Shield against the harsh Florida weather is good for your house and it's good for your budget. As they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when it comes to your house, those cracks in the walls will cost you thousands if not repaired. Rhino Shield waterproofs your home with a coating that is 13 times thicker than box store paint. It has a Class A fire rating, is salt-air corrosive resistant, and comes in any color. Plus, with our 25-year warranty, you get a 100% non-prorated transferable warranty. This hurricane season, call Rhino Shield today and receive 30% off your entire job. The bottom line with Rhino Shield, you'll never have to paint again.
Tobacco-Free Florida has many free ways to help you quit nicotine. From free 2-week starter kits of quit aids to free cessation services like Phone Quit and Group Quit. We're even trying out new motivational tactics.
You're the greatest quitter. Greatest quitter. He's tobacco's greatest quitter of all.
Or maybe we'll just stick to the ways we know work. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com or call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW for free nicotine patches.
Not 100, not 200, not even 300. I'm talking 400 pre-owned on the lot, ready to test drive at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. All makes, all models, all waiting for you to test drive and take home today. Plus, Arlington's 30-day exchange program comes with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. Your next great ride is waiting for you at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person, 10939 Atlanta Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
Action Sports Jacks Overtime, ESPN 690 on a Thursday, last day of the week for the program. No OT tomorrow. Jumbo Shrimp baseball with the doubleheader. As far as I know, the game is still on tonight in terms of starting on time. Keep you updated on that. Talk to the gentleman here in about 20 minutes or so. But as of now, it looks like we're still starting on time. Doubleheader tomorrow, though, planned due to the Jags game on Saturday. You can't double dip at the sports complex. Can't have the Jags and the Jumbo Shrimp. Can't have the Jags and the Iceman. You know, there's like a thing, a rule. So planned doubleheader on Friday. And that's why we will not have a show. And that's why Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 will only go till about 4:40. And then the guys will take over and call the doubleheader. Brian Middleton, cash it or trash it or what?
Before we do, man, shout out to Mark watching German news in English on PBS. I don't know. I just thought it was cool. I finally looked at the little chat and it popped up.
Was that Mark?
Those. Yeah, I never catch those when they actually refresh.
Mark, appreciate you, man.
Shout out to Mark. What'd you say, Casey Kurtz?
We got cash it or trash it?
Oh, yeah.
Cash it or trash it.
Tell them to bring me my money.
On Action Sports Jax Overtime.
I see what he's saying here.
What is he saying?
He's saying he was watching German news and they brought up Watson.
Well, I got that. I understood that.
Well, that is surprising. Like Germany doesn't, there's a game in Germany, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're soccer.
World news. Listen.
Yeah.
You know?
They're talking about like BVB and the boys. You're like, what is BVB? I know. Anyway, that's cool. We appreciate you listening. And the fact that Mark is watching German news in English and listening to our show, I feel honored.
There you go, man. I like that. I like that. All right, okay, Casey Kurtz, you need the rules?
I do not need the rules.
All right, man. So let's start it off. Okay, so we've all been criticized before in life, right? And once you get into this business, that criticism increases tenfold, right?
If you work with Brett Martineau, it's almost every minute.
Well, listen, everybody's a critic, right? Everybody can do your job better than you.
Amen.
Now, Aaron Rodgers has caught some flack from this past week for basically telling his young wideouts to tighten up in a post-practice interview. On public, just microphones in his face, telling them, hey, be better, right?
Yeah.
Cash it or trash it, Casey Kurtz. You're okay with Rodgers boo-booing on his Devontae Adams-less wide receiver core.
And cash it.
There you go.
Tell them to bring me my money.
If it was like most other quarterbacks, nah. You know, not many people have that cachet. Aaron Rodgers, you know, if he's like, these guys got to be better. If I'm these guys, I'd be like, yeah, maybe. He knows what he's talking about. So, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. Like, you know, team camaraderie and all that.
Would you be all right if we could build a time machine and go back to the last couple of playoff runs and just anybody, maybe Devontae Adams, just pick a person, and they say, you know what, our quarterback need to be better because he wasn't good. He messing up in the big time. Like, he calling out people in preseason, and I get it. It's all good. I need to call you out in the playoffs, though. That's when it really counts.
That would be interesting. You know, I could get with if it's Devontae Adams. You know, if it's like Valdez-Scantling, I'd be like, you know.
Calm down?
Like, if you're great, if you're Devontae Adams and you're great, and you're playing with greatness, and that's your boy, you know, I think they might have to, you know, have a conversation, but I'd be like, you know, we got to be better type stuff. So, and also I think part of this of Aaron Rodgers is like, you got to motivate these guys a little bit because they don't got a lot in the wide receiver room. So I'm not mad at him for trying to self-motivate the boys like, hey, step it up, by the way. And Aaron Rodgers could pull this card, and I'm cool with it. Like, I agree with you on the hiccups in the playoffs, and he should have won more. I'm all with you on that.
Hiccups?
The absolute disappointment.
There we go.
I'm with you on it.
Rodgers' PR team over here.
Aaron Rodgers is great, though.
Oh, he is, yeah.
So if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm okay pulling the card like, I'm great. We got to be better.
Weeks 1 through 17.
Weeks 1 through 7. We got to win the regular season. We have to win the regular season.
But he don't need to open his mouth then in the playoffs then.
And I agree with you because Jimmy G's schooling him.
To be real with you, if anybody's calling somebody out.
You can't beat Jimmy G. What we got?
Okay. All right. And next up from the world of TikTok, let me set it up. Okay.
Right.
A woman says that she spotted her father eating at a Logan's Roadhouse with another woman while she was there with her mother in a now viral TikTok, okay? In the video, the lady says, quote, I'm out to eat with my mommy and my daddy's out to eat with his side piece. Now, Casey, 2 things I know are true, okay? We here at Overtime don't advocate infidelity the least, and black men don't cheat, even though this guy was black. But cash it or trash it, Casey Kurtz, this dude has some guts to step out on his wife so boldly, right?
Cash it.
Tell them to bring me my money.
It takes a little bit of guts to do that.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Same town, same. Oh,
right? Like, here's the thing. Again, as what Brian said, co-sign both of them, right? We don't support that here on OT.
Not at all.
But you got to at least go to St. Augustine. I know it wasn't in Jacksonville, but you see what I'm saying? You got to at least go to Yulee, right?
Maybe even Kingsland. Cross the border.
Cross the border. If you're just going to go down to the local steakhouse, what do you expect?
You want to get caught.
You wanted this to happen because there's no way you can't play the card where it's like, oh, what are you doing here? We live 4 minutes down the road.
We do.
You know?
The three of us.
This lady, right? So yeah, he was asking for it.
Logan Roadhouse. You been there?
I have not.
Okay.
I never heard of it, but now I'm interested. Where was this? Do you remember?
I do not remember. I wish I would have at least read that a little more closely. But
Roadhouse.
Wow, that was
good, right?
Spot-worthy. Wow. Yeah, don't ever do that without warning me again, though. I was looking at the screen. That just came out of nowhere. Had to look at the stack. Okay, next up, Casey.
Let's go.
The Yankees are 10 games better than the Guardians overall, record-wise, right?
Sure.
But in the last 10 games, the Guardians are 7-3 and the Yankees are 3-7. Cash it or trash it. The Guardians will go further in the playoffs than the Yankees this season.
That's fascinating.
You want to do it.
I want to.
You
so
want to
bad.
hate? Go ahead.
Trash it.
Oh, okay. Is this the right one? Oh, yeah.
Is this the right one? Yeah, I'd love to, but I'm not, I like the Guardians. I like what they're doing. I'm not sold that they actually make it to the playoffs still. I think it's still, the White Sox are there. The Twins are still there. Yankees are going. Right, Yankees are scuffling bad right now. They do walk off the Rays with a grand slam last night, but Yankees are scuffling. By the end of the day, I can't sign on Cleveland getting there. If I was sure they could get there, I would cash it because I'm not sure about the Yankees, the pitching, the staying power.
Nestor Cortez.
Yeah, nasty Nestor's just back to being Nestor. Now
you just Nestor, bro.
Now you're just Nestor again.
Oh boy.
So yeah, I can't. I want to so badly, but I can't.
All right, Casey, that's the abbreviated version because I want to get my boy KJ on here. That's it for Cash It or Trash It.
I like it. Appreciate you, Brian Milton. Gambling picks for the weekend up next with Jenkins Jr. We'll be right back.
Coast Conference brought to you by KPMG is back October 3rd and 4th. Jacksonville is a dynamic hub for technology and development. The Jacksonville Chamber IT Council is excited to again showcase Northeast Florida as a tech leader of innovation and creativity. Be a part of the Tech Coast Conference to highlight your company as a tech innovator. To participate or sponsor, log on to techcoastconference.com for event details. That's techcoastconference.com.
This is Paul Gray, founder of Gray Matter Distillery, inviting you to check out the new home of Jacksonville's first craft distillery in beautiful Atlantic Beach. Since 2014, we have been the proud distillers of such iconic local spirits as Carr Vodka and Live Oak Whiskey. In our new distillery, you can enjoy one of our handcrafted cocktails made using only the freshest ingredients for only $8 a drink. Enjoy a cocktail, sample small batches of vodka or whiskey, or take a bottle home. Pick up your very own Gray Matter Distillery shot glass for free when you mention this ad. Come see us this weekend, and remember to please drink responsibly.
Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to make a plan and know your zone. In the case of an evacuation, have a plan to go to a hurricane shelter, hotel, or stay with a family or friends. If you're ordered to evacuate, you need to leave. You can rebuild your home, but you cannot rebuild your life. This hurricane season, know your zone. Know your home. Learn more at floridadisaster.org. This message is sponsored by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
There's nothing like hearing the songs you love on local radio, with no subscriptions and no monthly fees. But there's a new bill in Congress that could stop the music. If passed, this bill would tax your local radio station simply to play the music you love. Text LOCAL to 52886 and ask Congress to support local radio stations. Help us keep you connected to the music, local news, weather, and traffic that you need each day. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it. Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now, 904-664-8214.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami. Jules in Minneapolis and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
How much time do you spend putting in new music beds? Because I feel like every day it's a different bed. You are vibing right
Hey.
If you are watching the stream, Brian Middleton's getting after it.
Honestly, man, it takes maybe about 20, 30 minutes.
I appreciate you. Because
I can't keep adding beds. I mean, it looks like I keep adding, like,
I
new
feel like
carts.
it's different every time.
No, I mean, I can't keep adding carts. I got to, like, take something out.
Oh,
that's
you
how I do
replace
it, so I don't do too much. Anyway, go ahead. You got it.
No. I appreciate the work. Because, listen, I ain't put in one music bed for
Not
the show.
one.
Not one.
And look at you winning out here.
Am I? You know, anyway.
Chicken yesterday.
Hey, that chicken was good, though. What's going on for dinner tonight? I guess we're going to find out. Action Sports Jax Overtime, ESPN 690. What are you doing for dinner?
Man, I'm thinking I'm going to have some dim sum. Yeah?
Is that the place?
It's a couple of them. But I just looked it up today, some dim sum.
Is it it's beach and the one I'm thinking of is beach and what is that? What is this road right here? By the Target and the Walmart. Is that what you're talking about or no?
I actually don't know, but it's only like 10 minutes away. Oh no, it's on Bay Meadows. It's down there by Bay Meadows.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I think there is one though on beach and what is that road? It's annoying me.
Oh, I do not know.
Okay.
Google it while you're talking to your boy.
I don't have time for this. It's time on a Thursday, no show on Friday. Gambling picks for the weekend. I think the Jags will be included in this one as they play on the weekend. Junior, what's going on with you, man?
Not much. Yes, we do have some Jags for you today.
That's what the people need to hear because if there's anything that I love gambling on, it's preseason football. I'm 0-1. You know that due to the Hall of Fame game mishap, but you want to start with the Jags? You got something else you want to start with? Where are we starting out here, Junior?
No, let's start with the Jags.
All right.
I actually have I pulled up some information. I'm going to ask you a couple questions really quick.
Okay.
If you go on to NFL futures betting, you find a bunch of stat lines, and one of the guys you can place bets on is Christian Kirk. So Christian Kirk currently has over-under of 69.5 receptions this year.
This year?
800. Yeah.
I was like, that would be one hell of a game. Especially in the preseason. I tell you what, he'd be cooking.
850.5 for yards and 6.5 for touchdowns. Now, you're telling me this guy had 77,982 last year?
Yeah.
Behind DeAndre Hopkins? I feel like if you're a Jags fan, you believe in Christian Kirk, you got to hammer the overs for that one.
Yeah, I would say receptions over, yards over. What was the touchdowns again?
6.5, which is the only one I would stay away from.
Yeah, 6.5 is questionable. I mean, granted, they only scored like 20 times last year, and Trevor only threw like 11, or 9. I forget exactly what it was. But, yeah, the touchdowns worry me. But I 100% the yards and the receptions, Brian Middleton, do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Brian Middleton, gambling expert.
Yeah. So I feel like for the futures, you can bet all year on Christian Kirk. That's exciting for Jags fans because I think you can hammer that and pay off at the end of the year.
I agree with
that.
that.
But as far as the game on Saturday, 7 p.m., Steelers at Jags, we have an over-under of 42 points. And
42. 42 straight? No half?
Yeah, which was super odd to me, but it's straight. It's 42.0. The Raiders game, it was a total of 38 points. The Browns game was a total of 37 points. But hear me out here. The Steelers have 3 quarterbacks who can score. You might be the world's biggest Mitch Trubisky fan.
I might be.
Pair that with one of the top 5 Kenny Pickett fans.
I'm telling you.
And then you got Mason Rudolph as well.
Yeah.
There's also going to be a lot more first-string reps. I feel like they're going to go over 42 here.
That's what I'm talking about. I thought you were going to call up onto this show and try to sell me on the under Because you've done that before. You've tried to sell me on the under before, but you're trying to sell me on the over. Brian Milton, you going over 42 on Saturday night or what?
I mean, the Steelers are going to carry the load. Is that what we're saying here?
No,
I'm not knocking the Jags first team offense,
No.
The
but
boys
clearly,
they're playing into the second quarter. That's what we know. We don't know fully how much. They're going to play into the second quarter.
Right.
I tell you what, they scoring. Them boys are scoring. The Jags first team coming up with at least 14.
okay, so let's say 14, because you say at least, and I'm like, if they're going just into the second quarter, okay, I'm saying 14. I'll give you that, because they gave me 13.
I think
basically
all the
last
other
game.
backups can get you at least 3. So now you're at 17. So yeah, you need to get blown out by the Steelers. Steelers gonna score.
But here's the thing. The Steelers' last game was 35-25.
There you
All
go.
3 of the Steelers quarterbacks had a touchdown leading drive. And
Okay.
then also with the fact that the Raiders game with the Jags, they scored 38 points total that game, and the starters played 2 possessions. So I'm thinking more first string reps, and you can hammer the over here.
You never have to sell me on the over, Junior.
I'm going under.
Yeah, you would. You look like
I just listen.
You're the type of guy that would bet the under.
I'm going to be. I believe in the first team Jags offense. I believe in the Jags in general, right? But we've seen what happens once you get the guys who are trying to make the team, like get in there. All of a sudden, get a little bit out of hand. You see the final score, and you're like, wait a minute, is this last season all over again? Then you're like, oh no, we know what happened.
If it gets enough out of hand, that's good for us. Brian Middleton.
I'm going under.
Of course
the
you
42 points.
Anyway.
I'd rather the 0.5 on there though, so I could say they would score 42.
There you go.
But okay.
There you go. He needs that. He needs the hook, Junior. What else we got? You got more Jags. You got something else for us?
That's the end of the Jags. And I have one other very odd bet, which I mean it's on par for me. That's where I bring you guys.
Yeah, man. What do you got?
I think this fits in because earlier today, if you were tuning into the show, you listened to Clay Harbor talking about possibly giving out weekly roses to the best Jags players.
Yeah.
Casey and Brian, who do you think the next gentleman that Kim K is going to give a rose to?
There you go.
There you go.
There
That's
you
a good
go.
one.
Okay.
And this comes up because I've said multiple times, my man Rodolfo Castro got caught with his phone on the bases because if Kim K's single, you got to keep your phone on you at all times.
Should pull that clip.
Is Rodolfo on the list, Junior?
I wish he was, but he's not.
All right. You got any guesses? Who's on this list, Brian Milton, in terms of odds?
It could be anybody. I'm going to go with Kanye.
Again?
I bet he's on the list.
Kanye is leading at plus 200. He is the heavy
your
favorite.
boy.
He's the favorite?
Take me to Vegas.
Heavy favorite.
I can't believe that.
I could tell you why, but I don't want to run over time.
Yeah, that's true. We are running out of time. Who else we got on the list, Junior? Give me some of them.
We got Van Jones. You have, once again, Pete Davidson. You can bet on Ray J, Nick Cannon, Jamie Foxx, Harry Styles.
Ray J?
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles ain't checkable, huh?
Did you say Kyrie Irving and Dak Prescott?
Yeah, you can place a bet on the married Reggie Bush.
Reginald Bush. It's taking back to 06.
Junior, where's the best value? Tell me about it. Who's got the best value in this one?
Hey, let me tell you, it's got to be Nick Cannon.
That's actually not bad.
Hey,
I give you that. That's a smart take. Nick Cannon, friend of the
Plus
program.
Plus 1,000 Nick Cannon. There's going to be another child of Nick Cannon if what I'm predicting comes true because him and Kim K are getting together.
Here's the thing. I don't even think it's going to take Kim K. Nick Cannon's probably going to have another kid.
Oh, there's another kid. Yeah, absolutely.
We probably don't even know, but that's a good call. That is good value on Nick Cannon and Kim K. Brian Middleton's going with the heavy favorite, though, Kanye West. And he's betting the under. I can't believe it, Brian Middleton. That's unbelievable.
Mark it down. We'll check on Monday.
Jenkins Jr., gambling picks for the weekends. Appreciate you, brother. Have a good weekend.
All right, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, guys.
Almost done on a Thursday. We wrap it up next. Action Sports Jacks Overtime, ESPN 690. We'll be right back.
Monitoring your security system. Do you even know? What if I told you you were being monitored in someone's house? Can you imagine someone working from home with all your information? Your family's security is dependent on how fast a worker responds to your alarm from their house. Unbelievable, right? Think again, because the largest company in America is doing just that. And pay attention to their ads. They now have teamed up with big tech. There goes your information and privacy. Plus, you're possibly being monitored from someone's home. Now you know why I have a safe Safe Touch home security system, the Safe Touch Monitoring Center is right here and fully staffed at their disaster-resistant monitoring station. Have you driven by the other guy's monitoring center? Don't bother. It's empty. Call now and find out what makes the Safe Touch 5-star security and surveillance system so outstanding, and right now get free installation. Don't just assume your family is safe. Know they are safe with Safe Touch Security. Call 888-723-8682 or visit safetouch.com. State license EF233.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Hey, I'm Carrie.
And I'm Bruce. We're the owners of Koala Insulation. That summer heat's right around the corner, and so are those high energy bills. Don't just sweat it out, do something about it. Call Koala Insulation today for your free evaluation. We don't quote over the phone or just poke our heads up in your attic. We do a full evaluation to include attic ventilation needs as well as insulation.
Give us a call at 904-679-6282 or online at koalainsulation.com.
I'm getting my kids ready for back to school. I'm Heather. I'm a Jacksonville mom, and every morning I start my day with Action News Jax.
Welcome everyone to Action News Jackson.
I'm Jada from Orange Park. I watch Garrett for my weather.
We are seeing some clouds.
He's a certified meteorologist, and his forecasts are always the most accurate.
And I'm Lisa from Fruit Cove. I can't waste time in the morning.
We've got some breaking news this morning.
Action News Jax gives me what I need so I can get my day started.
So we're telling moms everywhere to do what we do. Start your morning with Action News Jax.
I'm telling you, another different bed. Have we?
That's been there.
It's been there
for months, Casey.
I don't pay attention.
Why should you, man?
I tell you what,
big shot like you.
I tell you what, you better start fading it down if you don't watch that clock. You know what's about to happen to you.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't want you to get caught.
Look at you. Yeah, I get caught. You know that.
I know you do.
If
That's why I'm trying to help you.
you.
Anyway, before Brian Middleton gets caught with some audio that isn't supposed to play for another couple minutes, we tell you Action Sports Jax Overtime, ESPN 690, the broadcast. Don Brian Middleton on the ones and twos. Casey Kurtz with you. We head down to 121 Financial Ballpark, home of the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, home of Matt Davis, potentially home of Scott Kornberg. I'm not sure who's there. Gentlemen, one or just Matt, I heard your voice. What's going on down there?
I'm here.
Scott, what up?
What's up, Casey? It's raining here. What the heck?
Yo, it's been okay. So the rain, it's been on and off all day. It's back on the raining thing again, or we just got the tarp on the field.
You know, it's raining. It's legitimately raining.
That's tough. The windows in here, like the things are down, so I can't hear. I don't know. What's the rain delay play for you guys? Like, what do you do to pass the time?
I got some articles to read.
You're gonna read, Scott?
I'm a huge nerd. Is that not clear to you already?
No, like it is, but like you had an opportunity, Scott, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna read. I was like, okay, cool. Matt, you getting that Arby's yet or what?
I did not make an Arby's trip during the rain delay. I actually went and ate more food and got a nap in.
You nap during rain delays? Is that real? Because that's legendary.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like, there's nothing else to do. Sometimes I'll kind of do my, due diligence and read up on.
And now you're reading.
Well, I mean, I need to study for the game a little bit, but other times it's mostly just napping.
Too much of a bad influence to me. He's reading.
This is unbelievable turn of events. All right, back to.
I'll study up for trivia. That's what I usually do.
Oh, he petty. He's petty, Casey.
He is petty.
He ain't letting it go.
Yeah.
You got to get that rematch.
I do.
You got to get that Rocky-style rematch, okay? Even Rocky lost the first one, Casey Kurtz.
I tell you what, they didn't make 5 movies for nothing.
You know what I mean?
What I'm saying? I got plenty of time. This is only volume 1.
Oh, boy.
Back to some actual baseball things now. Do we think there's going to be baseball tonight? I know you're not a meteorologist, either of you. You're very good readers, though, apparently. But do we think we're going to play baseball tonight?
I like to be positive. So,
That's true.
It's kind of gotten lighter here. I can see the Matthews Bridge out in right center. So I'm going to be positive and say we're hopefully going to play tonight.
Because that would make one heck of a situation, right? With doubleheader tomorrow already scheduled, no game Saturday. Then what, we'd have to do back-to-back doubleheaders?
Yeah, you'd have a doubleheader tomorrow. Well, it's actually interesting, right? Like, on one hand, it doesn't sound good, back-to-back doubleheaders. But on the other hand, this would act as an off day. And then you have a doubleheader tomorrow, and then Saturday is an off day. And then Sunday you have a doubleheader, but then Monday is an off day. So in a weird way,
Yeah.
like when I first heard doubleheaders, like, well, there's no way coaches are going to want to go for that because they have a say in this. Like, they talk to the managers downstairs, and they sometimes do want to play because they need to get somebody innings or whatever. And sometimes they don't want to play because they, are sick of baseball and they want to do their thing.
Yep.
And, I was like, oh, there's no way they're going to want to do back-to-back doubleheaders. It's terrible on your staff. It's actually not allowed to have back-to-back doubleheaders on consecutive days, but this situation avoids that, and you get the off days, and it might be something that they're willing to deal with. I don't know. I don't know what their thinking is.
Interesting. If we do play tonight, what is the situation, the pitching matchup, and all those things?
Pitching matchup, we've got Cody Mincy for Jacksonville. Really cool story. He was in independent league baseball until last year. He was undrafted out of college, and certainly somebody who has had quite a bit of battling in his career to get to this point. He's found himself in AAA, and on the other side, Dylan File, pretty talented pitcher for the Nashville Sound. So, two righties going at it. We hope today, and we'll see if not.
I like it. Here's, gentlemen, I assume Twitter will be the place to keep up with the information other than what I can deliver on air.
Yes, Twitter will be the place. I assume other avenues of social media as well, possibly Facebook, but Twitter will definitely be the main one to check for weather updates and game updates. That'll be the place to go, @JackShrimp on Twitter.
There we go. They will update it. Gentlemen, by all means, please get back to your reading. Enjoy the scholarly knowledge, and hopefully we have baseball tonight with you guys calling it, but keep the people updated on Twitter, and we won't talk to you tomorrow, so I guess we will talk to you again on Tuesday.
We will talk to you guys soon, no matter what.
Soon, yeah. Fair enough. Thank you, gentlemen.
What are you guys
Enjoy.
going to talk about the rest of your show?
We're going to try to come up with another couple of minutes here, Scott. We didn't have anything planned, so we're going to be gasping.
Okay.
If you want to read something in the break to get a topic in, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
No breaks left,
you
man.
should talk about? There's something I read today.
Oh, good.
In the DSL, there was 2 no-hitters done in the same game.
How does, dueling no-hitters?
Dueling no-hitters.
Yeah, the DSL Cubs beat the DSL Pirates 2-0, and both teams threw a no-hitter.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
It's a trivia question.
What are you doing with the trivia?
DSL.
That's a trivia question. Come on now. Come on.
DSL Pirates Black, not just DSL Pirates. Pirates Black.
2 teams. Huh, that is fascinating.
And DSL Cubs Red, not just Cubs.
These are the only things, you can only learn these things if you read. So, well done. Appreciate the information there, Scott.
No problem. You guys need anything else to talk about?
No, we think we got it.
I think we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think we got it here.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Let me tell you something, Brian Middleton.
Yeah, I got something to tell you, too.
Go ahead.
Okay, you may have heard a phone call when we first came in.
I did hear a phone call.
And that was Coach Matthew Driscoll. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, UNF men's head ball coach right there.
Yeah, that's Coach Driscoll.
And he just wanted to let you know that the dim sum place you were thinking of was on Beaches and Hodges. It's called Hong Kong Bistro. And I appreciated it, man. You know what the crazy thing was? I recognized the voice, but I couldn't put the name with it. Wasn't that was so crazy? I was like, I know. And then he was like, "Yo, this is Coach Driscoll." I'm like, yeah. But yeah, he just wanted to let you know because the struggle is real, and I hate that when you think about you know it, but you can't say it. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, just want to let you know that.
Because I'll take you inside the business, folks. Action Sports Jacks, Overtime, Jumbo Shrimp, and a rain delay. The phone is blocked right now. So if you were to call the number that we give out for the show, you would get a busy signal. There's a number that we don't give out.
Don't give out.
That I cannot block. You cannot. It comes through no matter what. Coach Driscoll is important enough to know the number.
Knows the number.
So when I see Brian on the phone, I'm like, what's happening? It's a wrong number. That's what I thought, because that does happen. Honest mistake. But then I heard you say coach, and I was like, who just called? Coach Driscoll. How about that? UNF Ospreys.
Solid.
Men's basketball coach.
Just solid.
Coach Driscoll, all-world guy, by the way. Tell you what.
Maybe get him in for trivia. How do you think he'd do against Coach Driscoll? He
I-
seems like he's
he
good
was
at it, though.
smoking.
I don't want no.
Yeah.
I don't want no problems with him.
His Caterpillar knowledge is just unbelievable. If you haven't seen the reel, go on Instagram Reels. It's a little bit down the line because he was on a little while ago. But unbeatable knowledge. Another person I don't want in trivia is Scott Kornberg, apparently. He's like reading. Can you believe they're reading during a rain delay?
Yes.
When like TikTok exists?
Yes, Casey.
You would be reading too.
Casey, I got to read a bunch for these segments. You think I'm just out here just
You do be
plugging
reading.
it from the... You read a lot too, kind
I don't
of.
read anything.
I bet you if there was like a FIFA, playbook or something, you would. No,
Nah, not
actually,
really.
no. You'd figure it out on your own. That's it. That's-
I read on Twitter, but other than that,
Let me find some music.
that is about it. Find some music. If you
Oh
would, please.
boy.
If you're just jumping in looking for Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, are in a rain delay. We will keep you updated. And again, I said they will keep you updated. Jack Shrimp on Twitter. I will keep you updated on the ESPN account by retweeting the information that they put out. Until that time, though, we will give you to ESPN programming. Spain and Fitz will carry you until Jumbo Shrimp Baseball finally comes through. If it doesn't, again, we will keep you updated. Doubleheader tomorrow for the Shrimp. No me, no Brian Middleton. We are not here tomorrow. Action Sports Jacks until about 4:40 tomorrow, and then Jumbo Shrimp doubleheader. Brian Middleton, have a great weekend, my friend.
You too.
I will see you on Saturday. Jags and Steelers on Saturday. We hope to see you at the bank. But until then, for Brian Middleton, I'm Casey Kurtz. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Administrative duties that are bigger than deciding how they're going to divvy out punishment, how they're going to split up money, and what they're going to do as entities. If your thought is that by breaking away, the NCAA will suddenly no longer be a part of college football in a way that will bring back the college football you loved 20 years ago, you couldn't be more wrong. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat from Spain and Fitz, I'm Jason Fitz.